Well, Coastal Carolina has set themselves up with a golden opportunity to advance to the College World Series finals. A date with either LSU or Arkansas seems likely, but as of right now, top of the third, Coastal has come out firing. They've come out swinging against Louisville 6-0. Coastal Carolina leads the Louisville Cardinals. Again, top of the third, 2 outs, runner on first for Louisville, who had that phenomenal comeback last night in the late game yesterday against Oregon State. There's a chance, obviously, if they could do that they could make a push to get back into this game. Still a long way to go, but we'll see. Obviously, we'll be monitoring it for you. Excited for the Coastal Carolina, what?
Chanticleer.
Chanticleer. Say it with me, everybody.
Say it right, Rob Brown. You know what, though? It's kind of, maybe I'm just like not fully a believer on this. To me, it feels like Coastal, even though they're not a Cinderella story, Diesel, it feels like every single time they win, they're still proving the most of college baseball fans wrong in a sense because, like, to me, Coastal's really, really good, but Diesel, for whatever reason, maybe this is the wrong reason, but for whatever reason, all along I felt like Coastal's run is eventually going to come to an end.
We're biased.
Yeah, and I just keep getting proven wrong. And I'll tell you what, man, like they're legit. They might be a contender to beat LSU. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But what they're doing right now is just flat impressive. I love it.
If ultimately they do face LSU, it's going to be a battle of contrasting styles, right? Coastal Carolina is a pitching first kind of team. Obviously, they can score heavily, quickly, as evidenced by what's going on right now in Omaha. But they are more of a grind it out, get creative, pick up runs here and there, and especially score late in ball games, whereas LSU is a power hitting team. So that's going to be really interesting to watch how those two teams could potentially contrast against one another. Depends on what happens tonight with the second game, the Arkansas-LSU game. The Razorbacks, a really good baseball team, but they lost that game against the wall.
They just lost to LSU a couple days ago in the College World Series. So, like, this is a rematch. This is a marquee, get your popcorn out kind of game tonight at 7. I think Diesel tonight's game could be the best of them all to this point. And then if somehow, some way we do get a Coastal Carolina LSU matchup, oh boy.
Could we call it a Cinderella story, Cole, for a team from a smaller conference? If they were to go on and win another national championship, it would be their second national title in 9 years. I don't know if you can call those guys a Cinderella in any way, shape, or form anymore, especially after if they get a second.
And here's the problem. Kevin Schnall said, we're not a Cinderella. We're not. And
well, then
to your point, they've already won one. They're in another right now, right in 2024 or 2025. What year is it? Right, 2025. And here's last I checked too. Here's what's fascinating about it. You realize if you're a Clemson baseball fan today, you're sick to your stomach.
Yeah.
You are just absolutely. I'm not saying that South Carolina's out of the conversation here, but if you're a Clemson fan today, you're thinking, man, we just got this new guy in Eric Bakich. We've had talent, and Coastal first-year head coach and Kevin Schnall, and they're about to punch their ticket to the best-of-3 series. What are we doing wrong?
I tell you this, if you're Clemson right now, you better hope that Kevin Schnall is so in love with Conway, South Carolina, that a year from now, there is no amount of money that the University of South Carolina can throw at Kevin Schnall to get him down to Columbia. That's what you better be hoping, because he is a phenomenal coach. He put together a phenomenal coaching staff. He put together a top-notch pitching staff. That should be Clemson baseball's biggest fear right now, is that Eric Bakich has kind of hit his ceiling, and Kevin Schnall could make his way down to Columbia.
Well, he's a great coach. It's a great program. He followed in the footsteps of a legend. And in the first season, I don't know, you go back and do the research, how many first-year head coaches Diesel have taken their team to Omaha. I guarantee you it's not many. That's just so impressive.
Well, you know as well as I do, though, some South Carolina fans would say, well, he's never built a program back from nothing. That's dumb. He could go win a College World Series at Coastal, and you would still find a reason to say, no, we don't want that guy because he's never done it at the SEC level, or he's never built a program back from nothing. Anybody can take the keys to a Lamborghini and mash the gas pedal.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's that I wouldn't buy that. I wouldn't buy it.
Speaking of
smacking them.
Speaking of mashing things, Cole, Connor McGregor. At this point, are we about to say ex-UFC great? Connor McGregor could have just seen his marketability and his the remainder of his career with UFC go up in flames with a 1-2 punch at a nightclub in Ibiza. Connor McGregor was caught on video, Cole, given 2 left hooks to another patron at a nightclub, and I wonder, is Dana White going to pull the plug on this situation and say, you know what, Connor, we love you, Bibula, but guess what? We can't have you around here anymore. We just cannot. With all of your repeated instances of terrible behavior outside of the ring, we just can't have you around here anymore. And I wonder from you, Tolos, at 844-326-3663, do you think this should be the end of Connor McGregor as we know him as a professional fighter, especially with UFC?
So wait a minute. You're telling me he is a fighter for a living, right? That's his occupation.
Yep.
And he did what?
Punch somebody in the face twice.
Isn't that his job?
Inside the ring, that's his job.
Isn't that his job?
Outside of the ring. Look.
No, it's overtime. You mean what are you gonna fuss at the guy for working overtime? Yeah,
to get a bonus for that. No, I mean, I don't know what the code of conduct is with a UFC fighter. You know, you get a contract with UFC. You are expected. I would assume you're expected to not punch civilians if you're a UFC fighter. And how many of them? I don't know if this is true. Do they actually have to register their hands as weapons? Because they are weapons. Let's be real. They are weapons. And just as if you were to go out and about in the world with a firearm on you, you have to register that firearm. You have to get your concealed weapons permit, all those types of things. I just wonder if Dana White has had enough of this guy. So to give you a sense of what all has gone down with Connor McGregor, and look, a lot of people love his personality. They love his brashness. They love his swagger, that walk with the limp arms and all that kind of stuff. He's in the situation now in a nightclub in Ibiza. There is footage. There's video footage clearly of him getting into an argument that escalated into violence. He was standing up on some sort of a platform or a stage, and he punches another patron in the face and then hits him again a second time. No official charges have been filed. He wasn't even removed from the venue, Cole, but it still happened. He also has had that incident in 2018 where he was arrested for throwing a dolly through a bus window at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. He injured other fighters and he injured staff. In 2019, he was caught on camera punching an elderly man in a pub in Ireland for refusing to drink his proper number 12 whiskey. He has multiple sexual assault allegations. In 2021, he allegedly broke a DJ's nose during a party in Rome. He's, had his repeated outbursts on social media, veering into threatening and offensive territory. That's, of course, subjective depending on who the person is. But he has thus far been able to avoid a whole lot of consequences from his actions. Is Dana White going to be forced here to do something about this?
And again, I apologize for not knowing. To answer your question, is Conor McGregor still like the face of UFC? Is he the guy? Is he the marquee guy? If he's not, then you cut your losses and you move on. What are you losing, right? I mean, with any star in any league. I mean, you talk about other guys who have done similar things. Unfortunately, Diesel, what is there? I mean, if he's the face of the league, now this is bad to say. From what I'm saying right now, it sounds like I'm condoning it as long as he's the face of the league. That's what it sounds like. However, let's just not pretend for a second that doesn't happen. It happens. I'm not saying it's right, but league commissioners, league officials, Diesel, are going to protect the faces of their league. If Patrick Mahomes does something, guess what? They probably don't want to ban Patrick Mahomes from the sport, right? They're probably going to do what they can to keep him around, slap him on the wrist or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But if Connor McGregor is to the point now where he's kind of an afterthought, 10 years ago, maybe Connor McGregor was the guy.
There's still some marketability in him, though. I mean, is it real? Like, are we saying that he is a legitimate contender for the UFC champ in a certain weight class? Probably not, but he still sells an awful lot of pay-per-view tune-ins, right? Whenever, even if it's a silly fight where he's, fighting Thunderlips, the Ultimate Male, instead of another UFC fighter, he's still marketable. People still tune in for him. So the problem is, yes, it's a violent sport. Dana White is very much a man's man. I'm not gonna kowtow to the public pressure and what the public wants me to do with my fighters. He's had situations in the past. You look at the John Jones situation where he had DUIs and domestic violence allegations and drug issues, and Dana White stood by him, said he's one of the greatest of all times. But I mean, at what point is enough enough?
Yeah, I think to answer the question, you have to ask the question, Diesel. What are Dana White's priorities?
Right.
What
making money.
What are his goals? And if it's to make money, if he doesn't care about PR, if he doesn't care about the right thing, and the things that he's done, that Conor McGregor's done, you can't defend those things. They're wrong. He's messed up. He seems like he is a little bit too big for his ego, right? Where he can do no wrong and it doesn't matter. I'm going to be okay. That's what it sounds like.
Wasn't he running for like Prime Minister of Ireland once?
Maybe so. Maybe it wouldn't surprise me if he was. But, I guess it depends what Dana White's priorities are. I would expect for nothing really to change. I don't know that I would expect Dana White to do much. I mean, again, Dana White's a businessman. He wants, to maximize his baby. And his baby is those fighters. I mean, and you know what? Like, I'm not saying I condone it, but again, he's trying to make a profit.
And he's trying to grow his sport in any way that he possibly can. He knows that the vast majority of his constituency, the hardcore UFC fans, which is about 80-20 male dominated, that a lot of them, they don't care. They think it's funny. They think isn't it funny Connor got in a fight out in public? That's great. And ultimately, is it going to be the culture within UFC fans who don't really care that Connor got in a fight? Now, they don't know the circumstances, because none of us know the circumstances yet around this altercation. It'd be shocking to me if we ever did get the details. I mean, probably short of killing the guy, Connor McGregor is not going to face any scrutiny whatsoever from most UFC fans, and especially Dana White. But Tolos, you tell us, 844-FAN-PHONE, 844-326-3663 on the Hub City Spartanburgers text line. If you are a UFC fan, drop that information in that text as well. Should he be allowed to fight in UFC ever again? Dewey says he was just practicing.
You know what? I think he was.
With a cocktail in hand, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, what do you blame the guy for working a little overtime, right? Tolos, want to let you know that if you are in the same area that Diesel and I are in, you can win some of these, or you can not win, but have some of these Ingles gift cards that you see on the stream. That looks better than my face, doesn't it? How about you can just do that the rest of the show?
Put dollar signs over your eyes.
How about that? That's what I'm going to do the rest of the show. No me, just Ingles gift cards. We have them here. We are at 10903 Anderson Road. It is the Powdersville location. If you come to Ingles, you might walk home not walk home. Hopefully you're not walking home. You might go home with an Ingles gift card. Diesel and I are set up. You walk in the door, you pass Starbucks, and we're over in the corner cafe. This is one of the nicer Ingles.
Love the store.
This is a nice one. It's out here, for me, but it's really nice. And I love coming to this Ingles. My Ingles in Bowling Springs is almost remodeled on the inside. Still has a little ways to go, but it's going to be nice as well. So, Tolos, if you are near, we usually have Tolos come out to this one, right?
We do. Corn Chip comes out to this one. We've seen Ricky Greer at this one. Sly Guy, yeah.
We have so many. This is funny. This is just part of doing sports radio in the summertime. We have so many Tolos that in the football season, we hear from them every day, Diesel. We see them all the time. And guess what? When it's May, June, July. It's like you couldn't find them if they were on the side of a milk carton, right?
Yeah.
But guess what? Come August, they're going to creep back out. They're going to pop up on the text line, especially when the Upset Picks Challenge starts, right? They'll come out of the woodworks. That's just the way that's the way it is. I was talking to a buddy of mine who will host a morning show on a sports station outside of our market this morning, and he said, "Man, I'm telling you," he said, it's the worst time of year to host a sports radio show. But
yeah,
guess what? We're here, and you Tolos can still make these summer months fun, as we're going to be, on location some. We have ACC Media Days coming up next month. Next week, we're at MTC, right? Next, Thursday? Is that right? Next Thursday?
That's right. We're at the brand new MTC Federal Credit Union on Woodruff Road next Thursday.
So we got a big calendar, a really big calendar. So if you Tolos are out and about in the Powdersville area, it's a Piedmont address, but I don't know that it's Piedmont. Somebody told us one time.
We got a lot of towns in the upstate with an identity crisis, which means it's time for Mayor Knox White to just go all scorched earth, start taking over, turn all these things into Greenville addresses, and we don't have to worry about it anymore.
MD75 on the YouTube stream says, "I'm just getting off. I'm going to stop in on my way home. I missed y'all last time." MD75, good to see you on the stream. We would love to see you at Ingles, especially if you want a Ingles gift card. All right, before we run, what's our latest update? Still same score?
6-0, bottom of the third. That means Coastal Carolina is up to bat. They've got a runner on second with 2 outs, and it is a 2-2 count at the plate. Pitch goes inside, full count, almost clipped the
Almost
Coastal Carolina batter. Yeah, it came real close.
Base hit here, and we're looking at 7-0.
If he had been wearing the XL cup instead of just the large cup, it might have got him.
Yeah, I tell you what, that field in Omaha is beautiful. They just showed an aerial view, Diesel.
Yeah,
that is a beautiful, beautiful playing surface.
That's a bucket list trip for me to get out to that whole thing and just take 2 weeks off and just be there.
They just walked the batter, so Coastal with 2 outs. Diesel has a runner on first and second.
Ooh,
this is
they could bust it wide open.
If I were to set the over/under at 4.5 of how many runs Louisville will score, would you go over or under?
4.5. I'm going to go under. I'm going to go. I don't know that they have a 5-run outburst.
Oh boy,
yeah.
I don't know. Louisville. I mean, they've been really good. And what's funny about the game of baseball, Diesel, is I've seen it at all levels: high school, college, and pro. There can be an even matchup, but guess what can ruin that even matchup? One bad inning. You have one bad inning. I've seen it at the high school level, college, pro, especially with the Braves.
Yep.
You have that one bad inning, you may be evenly matched. Like this game.
Well, the good thing is it happened to Louisville in the first.
It did.
So they got
I guess
8 innings to catch up.
But the reality is, what if this game finished 6-0? You'd say, okay, for 8 innings, these two teams were pretty even. However, in baseball, you have one bad inning, and it doesn't it's tough, man. So, it's gonna be interesting. Let's dive deeper into the college baseball conversation. What game is tonight, Diesel? We also coming up later in the show, we're gonna bring on Andrew Riedell of College Baseball Central and talk about LSU. A big game tonight. Want to hear your thoughts, Tolos, on the World Series. Louisville Coastal right now, not that close of a game, but Arkansas, LSU rematch tonight at 7 p.m. Want to hear from you, Tolos, next on the Fan Upstate. Top of the fourth inning, Coastal Carolina leads Louisville not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5 Diesel, but 6-0.
Ooh.
Coastal all over the Cardinals of Louisville out of the ACC. Top of the fourth inning, Louisville does have one runner on second base with no outs, so maybe Louisville can start hacking away tonight. Arkansas, LSU, a rematch from last week. LSU and Arkansas did play, and LSU had the win. And that one, Diesel LSU tonight, minus 115. So LSU is the favorite once again, as they did beat Arkansas, just like I said last week. So a really good marquee matchup tonight between two blue bloods. Both teams 46 wins on the season, Diesel. But before we get into that game, as far as right now is concerned, Louisville trying to somehow allow their season to be prolonged. When you're down 6-0, it's a hole. Now you're in the fourth inning. You have to feel the pressure if you're Louisville, Diesel, going into these latter innings.
Yeah, hopefully they don't tighten up. Obviously, we would like to see Coastal Carolina advance and make their way to the College World Series championship, to the finals. However, we also want to see good baseball, right? And we want to see Louisville make this one competitive. Even if they don't come back to win this thing, that's a good thing for Coastal Carolina if Louisville were to be able to put together, 3-4 runs and scrounge this thing and make it compelling, because then that keeps them as sharp as possible going into the championship series.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. Louisville is a good team, but you talk about Coastal Carolina, what they've done already, 6 runs. We've talked about it in the first segment. We've talked about it other days. Coastal Carolina not looked at by the national media as a contender. However, what they've done today, Diesel, on just 4 hits. Think about that, only 4 hits today, and they've accounted for 6 runs off of just 4 hits. So Coastal Carolina knows how to maximize their efforts. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys in the lineup hitting above 300, which will get it done. So it's refreshing to see the smaller guy, the smaller school, if you will, the Coastal Carolina, the in-state team, get it done as Coastal's doing. Do you have an early lean on Arkansas LSU?
Oh man, this is a prime matchup, and it would be surprising, just as our guest told us yesterday, if Arkansas were able to come out and have another phenomenal pitching outing. I mean, to have back-to-back elite pitching games. Not to say that they'll get another no-hitter, because come on, it took 65 years to get the third one.
Yeah,
but I would think that LSU is probably, and this is just a feeling, LSU is probably going to kind of bat them around the yard, which tells me that Arkansas is going to have to find a way to score a bunch of runs to stay in this one. I think LSU wins it, and I don't even know that it's particularly close.
Really?
If you set the over-under at 3.5 runs, and I get that a 4-run ball game, especially in college, is still a relatively close ball game, but I'd say LSU probably wins this one by 4 runs or more.
Oh, wow. LSU that good. Tolos, what are your thoughts on the College World Series? Your thoughts on the run that Coastal Carolina is putting together? Not just an incredible regular season, Diesel, not just the conference championship, but now all of a sudden making a deep, deep run in Omaha. Phone lines open. The Hub City Spartanburgers text line is open as well at 844-FAN-PHONE. That's FANFONE, 844-3263-663. We want to hear from you, college baseball fans. We want to hear from you. We know it's we're 2 months away from college football season, but college baseball, at least we have an in-state school to pull for to watch in this College World Series. Big shout out though, Diesel, to Thorndike of Coastal Carolina, who got things started earlier, doubled in 3 runs, and Eichhoff, I guess I'm hoping that pronouncing that right, with a 2.87 ERA entering today's game, has been fantastic. Coastal Carolina entered Omaha. This stat's not talked about enough, Diesel, but Coastal Carolina entered Omaha with a team ERA of 2.00. That's nuts. You mentioned earlier their pitching. Their pitching's been stellar. You have a team ERA and they're on 25 game win streak, something like that.
Yeah.
They're just right now. We have to. And I think this is the biggest thing I've taken away is Diesel. We have to change the narrative. I have to change my mind and my brain from thinking, oh, this is little old Coastal, to training my mind to think, okay, this team's one of the best, if not the best team in college baseball.
Yeah, and for Louisville, it's a little bit of it's not a little bit, it's a lot of an uphill battle. They haven't had too many instances this season where they've had to come from behind, nor have they had to come from big deficits, but they did trail 4-0 to Florida State back on April 26th. They came back to win that game 9-4 with a lot of unanswered runs late in that ball game. They also did it against Arizona back on the 15th, so just a couple of days ago. They were down 3-2 entering the 8th inning. They scored 6 runs in the 8th. So, I mean, they can do it. They have shown multiple times throughout the season that they can do it. But, man, this is the biggest one yet. They've got to come back from down 6 runs early. Again, they've got a lot of baseball to play. Anything could happen. They could start manufacturing some runs and make this thing close, and hopefully maybe see if Coastal will make a mistake and serve one up for them to get back in.
Melissa Level of Ingles has arrived and is in the building. It's a big deal. They shut the store down when Melissa comes in, Diesel, just for a brief 2 minutes or so.
Also the bride to be Melissa Level.
I have to ask her about that. I have to ask her, and the Melissa's moment coming up at 5 o'clock. We might spend the whole segment on that. We'll see, though. She might not want to talk about it.
One could argue, especially when she comes in with these big, fabulous glasses on, every moment is Melissa's moment, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
It really is. So we'll talk to Melissa at 5 o'clock. Melissa's moment coming up. It's all about Melissa at 5 o'clock. Tolos, want to hear from you. We're also live, if you did not know, on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. You can not only listen to the show, but watch Wire to Wire. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, at The Fan Upstate. Diesel, tonight, Arkansas, LSU. You are leaning LSU. If I have to make a prediction, if I have to make a pick, Gage Wood, if he was on the mound tonight, I'd feel real good about Arkansas's chances after what he did the other day. What was that, on Monday? However, they went through Gage Wood. They went through yesterday's pitcher, who, forgive me for not knowing who that was. And now you're talking about a little bit of a war of attrition when it comes to pitching. And LSU, you mentioned, is one of the best teams in college baseball, one of the best teams remaining in the College World Series. Arkansas seems like, I don't want to call them like the little engine that could, but they do seem like the feel-good story, right? They do seem like the story after what Gage Wood did. They are trying so hard to get that championship for Coach Van Horn, right? You saw a no-hitter, only the third no-hitter. There's so many feel-good stories surrounding Arkansas baseball. I want them to win tonight. I do. I'm pulling for Arkansas tonight. I have no loyalty or affiliation to Arkansas for whatever reason. I don't have anything against LSU either, but I'm pulling for Arkansas tonight, Diesel, and I do want to see Arkansas and Coastal, but I think I have to side with you. I think LSU is probably going to get it done.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but LSU is undefeated thus far through the College World Series. So they don't have a tremendous amount of pressure on them tonight. They can play loose. They can swing for the fences. They can take chances. They can play their brand of baseball and not feel like their backs are against the wall. That's not the case for Arkansas. But again, they've had a couple of phenomenal performances in a row with their backs against the wall, and a lot of teams just play better when it's like that. I love the College World Series, man. This might be a better format than the NCAA tournament. What do you think?
For football?
For basketball.
Oh, basketball.
March Madness.
Oh, I'm sorry, March Madness.
Single elimination 68 team tournament versus 8 teams where you get double elimination, where you give some of these teams a chance to come back and have a second go at it.
You would think, to answer that question, it's interesting. You would think that it would be based on the sport, but It's not, because at the college level of basketball, you have a single elimination. At the pro level of basketball, you have 7-game series. So it's not dependent on the sport,
right?
So what is it dependent on? What is it? Baseball and the pros, you have, series, 5-game series, and you have 7-game series, Diesel. College baseball, you have double elimination, to your point, and then you have best of 3. So it's funny how these postseasons are set up. You really don't have like an agenda, a standard to go by.
Right.
I don't know if
They're all unique.
They're all unique.
I do appreciate that.
Yeah. I don't know if I would want college basketball, though.
Can I sell you on, if it was feasible, a 32-team double elimination NCAA basketball tournament? Can I sell you on that?
A 32-team. Say that again.
A 32-team, so half. If you have to lose twice, and you kept it at 64 teams, then that tournament gets really long, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to keep it at still roughly the same overall length of the tournament,
yeah,
you cut it in half and you do double elimination. Do you have any interest in that?
I don't. I like March Madness the way it is. I do like March Madness. You know what? It's funny, though. For some reason, I don't know why I've never thought of this.
But would that not give the blue bloods that get knocked out early, right, the big-time upsets, would that not give them a chance
It would.
to stay in it,
It would.
even though they lost a one-off crazy game, which, in theory, they're the better team over the course of a long season. If a Duke or a Kentucky or a Houston or whatever goes out in the first round, they're a great basketball team. They should be able to recover and then maybe go on a run after that.
And that's why it's so weird, right? That's why you have the NBA, you have these long series, Diesel, and then you have college basketball, this single elimination. What's strange about it is that, yes, to your point, you would think that a blue blood would benefit from having a longer series, because when it comes to the NBA, what do we say? 7-game series truly tells us who the better team is. It's not a one-off. It's not a 2-off.
Right.
A 7-game series, truly, you're going to find out who the better team is. But in college basketball, we don't want that. So why is it that we don't want that in college basketball? We just want single elimination. Maybe it's just a numbers math game, because, to your point, you'd have to the tournament would take forever,
right?
Because there's 64 teams that get in. I think I'm going to settle with I like it where it is. But college baseball postseason, no issues with it. No issues with it. I think if I could change it, maybe Omaha was a little bit shorter. Maybe not. I'd have to think about that. But overall, I have no major issues.
It's still, a week and a half to crown a national champion. And I love it.
Yeah, I don't think that's a problem. But really interesting stuff there. T Swizzle says right there with you, Diesel, every other sport plays more than one game. So maybe T Swizzle would like to see.
Well, football doesn't. College football doesn't. The
true.
NFL doesn't.
Single elimination there.
Yeah.
Right?
What if there was and again, I don't want to re-adjudicate the conversation and say, what if there was a 8-team double elimination format for college football? I like the do or die nature of some sports, and it just goes to show that we're not really logical creatures, right? What we like in basket A, being the college World Series, we don't want that same format in basket B, which is college basketball, or basket C, which is college football. We are illogical, and we want different things for different sports.
Yeah, it is really interesting. But I'll tell you this: as long as Coastal wins, I'll be happy. As long as Coastal wins, I'll be happy. We're all Team Coastal now. That's what we're doing, right?
Still 6-0, bottom of the fourth. Coastal just coming up to bat, no outs, so we're just getting the bottom of the fourth inning underway. Of course, we'll keep watching this over the course of the show. Now, we were able to get the fine folks here in the Corner Cafe at Ingles to put the game on the TV. So, hey, if you are looking for a place
there you go
to come by and watch the game,
listen to WIRE2WIRE.
This is a good spot. Listen to WIRE2WIRE. You can hear us, right? You don't even have to turn on your radio, because you can hear us right here inside the Corner Cafe. You can hang out. You can have some food. They have a great deli. It's literally 15 feet away. You can get yourself a sandwich, come by and watch the game, hang out with WIRE2WIRE, walk away with an Ingles gift card, which we still have a couple of those left on the table. But come see us. We're at 10903 Anderson Road in Piedmont. It's just off of Highway 153. So we want to see you out here. We got until 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. 7 o'clock. You got 3 more hours.
That's it. When we come back, Cole, we are going to play the game that is sweeping the nation. We call it For Better, For Worse. We present a couple of different sports scenarios in the context of what's better, what's worst. We'll talk about it next, right here, 97.7 FM in Greenville, 97.1 FM in Spartanburg, and everywhere on the free Odyssey app. on location here at 10903 Anderson Road in Piedmont. Tolo's stopping by left and right. We're just slinging these gift cards for Ingles. Want to see you come by, and you can grab one of those as well. Cole, here is the charge. I'm going to ask you a question, and the segment is called For Better, For Worse. It's like a marriage because you and I spend more time together than probably I spend with my wife, to be honest with you. Do I spend 4 hours a day face-to-face with my wife while we're both awake? I'm not sure that
What about
I do.
the evening time?
I get home at 7:30, 7:45.
Yeah.
And we're in bed by 10:30 because she's got to get up early in the morning. So 3 hours a day.
Well, maybe that's the key to a good marriage. You never see each other. I mean, come on.
You hang out for 15, 20
Maybe
minutes, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Maybe we've cracked the code.
Yeah, spend as little time together
Sorry, ladies.
as possible. But Cole, here we go. For better, for worse, is it better? And this, of course, kind of touches a little bit on the Gage Wood no-hitter the other day. Is it better for a pitcher's psyche to pitch a good game but lose close, or to pitch an amazing game a la Grant Holmes and the Braves the other day with, 15 strikeouts?
Yeah, something like
that. And have his team screw the pooch and lose big. What do you think would hurt a pitcher's psyche the worst?
Tough. This one's a tough one. You throw a great game.
Yep.
You go in the clubhouse.
You lose 6-5.
Everybody's pissed because you lost.
Yep.
Or
you're mad. You're mad because your team just screwed up your phenomenal performance.
So I'm going to say it's better to do what Grant Holmes did.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to say it's worse to do the latter that you put on the rundown. Because what is your job as a pitcher? Your job as a pitcher is to do what Grant Holmes did. Like Grant Holmes, well, if he were to do that 10 times this year, guess what? He's probably the Cy Young.
Cy Young, and
he's getting a contract somewhere.
Yankees are gonna call
I mean, that's in my opinion, that's the better option because like baseball, look, I know it's a team sport, but to me, baseball is more of an individual sport than it is a team sport because the individual play matters. Every single pitch matters. And what Grant Holmes did the other night was incredible. So I'm going to go. That's better what he did.
I do agree with you because, like you said, that selfish, individualistic performance, that's going to get him a fat contract somewhere else.
Sure.
If he can do that with some sort of regularity. So I'm going to go with that one. It's better to – because you could at least say, look, guys, I did my job. I'm a great pitcher.
Yeah. Y'all suck.
Y'all suck. It's not on me. That's
what a good teammate does right there, man.
Could you imagine if there was like one elite pitcher on the Colorado Rockies who was like, come on, guys, could you help me out every now and again? I keep giving you great performance.
I'd probably find a new job, find a new occupation, right?
Just quit baseball forever.
Yeah.
Second one for you, Cole. What is the worst you can find it anywhere stadium food? Like those items that are always available no matter which stadium you go to. That's the hot dogs, the nachos, the cheeseburgers, the pizza, whatever.
Oh,
the worst of those. The one you never get.
That's a tough one.
I know.
The worst of the you know what, man? Okay, let's go through the options again.
Yep.
So nachos,
funnel cakes.
Yeah, funnel cakes.
You can get those anywhere. Ice cream. That's certainly not going to be on the list. But
summertime,
you can't
summertime, I'd say.
Well, that's right. You don't. You don't eat ice cream when it's hot.
Look, I hate to do this to nachos, but I think nachos gets it, right?
Yeah. The answer is absolutely nachos because those chips,
it's just
suck.
They're just stale.
The cheese is gross.
Yeah.
I don't understand why people keep getting it. And they put it in this stupid little flimsy container that is just a stiff breeze will knock it out of your hand and make it disintegrate.
That's a tough one. I do like that, though. Gonna go. But what's funny is I love nachos. Love nachos. But
those aren't nachos.
That's true.
Those are uber processed corn product and cheese product. Give me real nachos all day.
Yeah,
I love
you're
those.
right on that, especially with plenty of toppings, some meat.
Do you ascribe to the theory, Cole, that if you're getting good nachos somewhere,
that if the nachos stick together, that counts as one nacho? So like, let's just
Who's
say you
counting
go,
nachos,
you
dude?
go to pull. I mean, you're hanging out with a lady or with one of your buddies, and you go to pull that wet
Yeah, you take it
nacho
all.
out.
Yeah, it's all.
You
It's all
take
one.
it all,
Yeah,
right?
you have to.
It's luck. If
You
we're
do.
if luck is a thing, that's luck.
And if they're sticking together, you know they're good.
Yeah,
you
that's
know
like-
they're good.
That's like the best game of Jenga ever,
Yeah.
right? To pull out the nacho chip and get all of them to come with it.
Yeah, it certainly is. Diesel, yesterday, you and I at 5 o'clock ranked the top 9 college football quarterbacks entering the 2025 season. Let's expound on that a little bit in the very next segment. Today, we ask the question, of those 9 quarterbacks, not which do we think are the best, but who do we think of the 9's in the best situation, best wide receivers, best offensive coordinator, best head coach, best running back, etc. We'll do it next.
electrifying sports talk from start to finish.
You're going 1 to 1
With Diesel and Cole Bryson.
on the Fan Upstate.
The 9 best quarterbacks heading into the 2025 football season. Diesel, yesterday, you and I ranked our top 9 quarterbacks. I posted on the Fan Upstate social medias earlier today a graphic of my 9, Diesel, and I already have had a buddy of mine call me and say, what are you thinking putting Cade Klubnik at number 1? And that is exactly why we do segments, why we create graphics, why we do things, because we want to hear from you, Tolos. We want to hear if you agree, if you disagree, what your thoughts are, how wrong we are, how stupid we are. We'll take it. The criticism, the praise, whatever it may be, we want to hear from you. We ranked the top 9 today. Let's take a step back a little bit further and really look big picture at which of those 9 have the best situations. These are the best supporting cast as we enter the 2025 football season. You, Tolos, are invited to participate in this segment before we have a guest on here in about 15, 20 minutes, because the next 2 segments, it'll be slam packed. Actually, the next 3, because we have Melissa's moment at 5. So if you want your voice to be heard, now is the time to do it at 844-326-3663. But just to give a quick rundown, Diesel, I have my 9. If you will pull your 9 from yesterday as well.
Got it.
I had Sam Levitt at 9, Drew Aller at 8, Arch Manning at 7, Kevin Jennings at 6, Carson Beck at 5, DJ Lagway at 4, Lenora Sellers at 3, Garrett Nussmeyer at 2, and Cade Klubnik at 1. Those were my top 9. Your top 9 were?
Our list's very, very similar. We had a lot of them in the same place. We just had a couple of them flip-flopped in back-to-back positions. So our list's not terribly different from one another. Mine was number 9, Sam Levitt at Arizona State. Number 8, Kevin Jennings at SMU. Drew Aller from Penn State at number 7. I had Carson Beck at 6 because I think there's just something going on with Carson, and I don't know if he's got to prove it to me again this year. I've got Arch Manning at 5 because he's still an unproven commodity. Number 4, I've got DJ Lagway at Florida. Lenora Sellers is my number 3 quarterback this season. Number 2, Cade Klubnik, and 1, Garrett Nussmeyer at LSU.
Greenville Gamecock on the Hub City Spartanburgers text line says, Cade at 1 is a real homer move, Cole. And I get that. I'm open to that criticism. I want to hear it. Greenville Gamecock, seriously, I have no problem with any of the criticism of my list. Like I said, I already had a friend of mine call me earlier and say, how could you put Cade Klubnik at number 1? Well, guess what? Is it a little bit risky? Maybe, but I do believe that he will have the best season. I think he's the best quarterback, and I think that'll translate into having the best season. Now, Diesel, when you talk about the best situations, the best supporting cast, guess what? So many things play a factor, right? Because if we go back to the conversation we had yesterday and who the best quarterback is, guess what goes into that? The schedule they play.
Sure.
The running backs they have. The offensive line is blocking for them. The offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
The weapons. So much matters. And while we did rank our top 9, maybe, just maybe, Diesel, in this segment, with the help of the Tolos, we can identify who has the best situation around them in 2025.
Yeah, I mean, they call football the ultimate team game, right? And having great wide receivers around you can make a pretty good quarterback look really good. And a really good quarterback having inexperienced young wide receivers that drop the ball a lot can make a really good quarterback look really bad. Look at Tom Brady and the receiving core he had multiple times throughout his career in New England. He had buns around him, yet he was able to make those guys look really good because he's Tom Brady. And you and I both know, Cole, that as offensive coordinators are constantly moving from one place to another to take lateral jobs, to jump up to become head coaches, having some continuity at the offensive coordinator position really, really matters, probably more than any other position coach at any other sport.
Continuity, stability, right? All of those things. So that leads me to Cade Klubnik. That leads me to Clemson Diesel, who was my number one quarterback entering 2025. When you look at returning offensive coordinator in his third season, Cade Klubnik also in his third season, right? When you look at all of these factors, before we get to all the other teams out there, just pertaining to Clemson, do you feel like Clemson has that continuity, the stability returning to where Cade could, and I know our 1, 2, 3 is a little bit different, but to where Cade could at the end of the season be that number one quarterback, maybe be in New York?
I'm not sure that Garrett Riley by himself, especially given what we've seen the last 2 years at Clemson, right? Because we thought, when you look back at his season at TCU, we thought, oh my God, this guy has got everything. He's got it all figured out. And then he comes to Clemson and he's got a talented young quarterback in Cade Klubnik. And then the offense just kind of sputtered.
And the first year they weren't
just
great,
kind of fell short. And so, look, maybe is it asking too much for him to be able to repeat at Clemson what he did at TCU in his first year? Maybe it is, but that's why these guys are getting paid millions of dollars, right? It's your job to come in and hit the ground running and not need 3 years to ramp this thing up. So, like, to that point, like, I think Garrett Riley is a little bit of a disappointment at Clemson. We didn't see from Cade in his 2 seasons. Last year was better than the year prior, obviously, but it still wasn't this, mind-blowing offense. I think Garrett Riley's a good coordinator who found something special at TCU against similar level competition and defensive prowess in the Big 12 as opposed to the ACC. So it's certainly good.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, what did Cade Klubnik not get in year 2 that's going to suddenly click and be that much better this year? If we're specifically focusing on the offensive coordinator continuity.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you this, to answer that question, Diesel, I think I would say that the only thing I can think of when you talk about year 2 to year 3 would not fall on the shoulders of Garrett Riley as much as it would the shoulders of Cade Klubnik. What I mean is Cade Klubnik has as many reps, he's seen as many defenses, he's been in big games. In year 3, in my opinion, the Garrett Riley criticism's fine, whatever, but in my opinion, Cade Klubnik has no excuse this year. So that's kind of like why I have him at number 1, Diesel. Again, you're right, offensive coordinator does matter. Is Garrett Riley the best ever? No, but you're talking about Antonio Williams right here, Bryant Wesco here, TJ Moore here, Tyler Brown here. You also have the phenom that's been talked about, and Tristan Smith, the transfer portal guy. Oh, not to mention Cole Turner.
Right.
Like, Cade, to me, in 2025 has 0 excuses, and that's why I say with the situation, with the weapons, that's why he is number 1.
If he falls short this year, it will be all on him. Right?
It'll be I would say, yeah. I would say so.
Because he will have the continuity of offensive coordinator. He will have the best wide receiving core he's had while at Clemson. Now, depends on how much Garrett Riley really likes to use the running back, because the running back situation is in flux. We know that they've got talent there. What can they actually do with it? These are unproven running backs there at Clemson this year. So, I mean, could that set this offense to be up slightly one-dimensional? We'll just have to wait and see on that. And by the way, Coastal Carolina has extended their lead now. Top of the 6th, Coastal leads 8-0.
Well, go ahead and put a nail in that one. This one's over. What inning, Diesel, did you say?
We're in the top of the 6th.
Yeah,
Louisville's at
it's
bat.
over. Louisville's done. Go ahead and warm up the buses.
Yeah,
warm them up, because
Louisville's
this one's
batting
over.
in the away half, the top half of the Indian.
Chanticleers.
Yeah.
Man. How about that? So
we've got 4 more opportunities, and there's 1 out. So they're down to 11 outs to get 8 runs or more.
Diesel, when you talk about, you brought up a minute ago, offensive coordinator. Offensive coordinator does matter. Cade Klubnik, 3rd season. Why I say, in my mind, Cade Klubnik really doesn't have a lot of excuses, barring like catastrophic injuries, right? offensive coordinator does matter. You look at the 9 that we ranked. DJ Lagway. He didn't play a full season, but he had really good flashes. His ceiling's high, right? He does play in the SEC. He's got a coach that's on the hot seat. Russ Callaway last year was co-offensive coordinator. Russ Callaway in the offseason was promoted to full offensive coordinator. There is no co-OC anymore. So Russ Callaway brings some familiarity, if you will, to DJ Lagway at Florida. Carson Beck, to your point, will be working with a new offensive coordinator at Miami, Shannon Dawson, in his 3rd season at Miami. Last year, he led the nation in scoring and had a really good year. But it's new. It's, that continuity that you talked about, the stability. How long will that take? LSU, no indication of any OC changes in the offseason, right? Arch Manning, you still have Steve Sarkisian calling the plays. Arch Manning was in the system last year, so not a ton of shakeup there. So for the most part, you do look at the situations of Cade Klubnik. You do look at the situations of DJ Lagway, and you'd probably say, well, their situation's pretty good. Florida's got dudes, right? Was Florida great last year? No. But guess what they did? They had really good players, and they're still going to have really good players on the outside. So I would say, Diesel, tell me if you disagree. I would say Florida, Clemson, when you talk about the situations, both quarterbacks in really good situations there. LSU's Garrett Nussmeier, even though we still have questions about Brian Kelly, like that's continuity, that's stability. You have to throw him in that group as well in terms of you feel the best about those 3, right?
Yeah, I'm a little concerned with the amount of running that DJ Lagway is going to have to do. They do a lot of running the quarterback in that Florida offense. So that one kind of makes me a little bit nervous. I know he's a big kid. I know he can take the hits, but all it takes is one bad hit to change all of that, right? Just because you're big doesn't mean that you don't feel anything. Doesn't mean that you don't get the same bumps and bruises and, torn ACLs. So that one kind of concerns me a little bit about Florida. That's sort of more of a hedging, just big hits in the SEC, making me a little bit nervous about the running back situation there and how much DJ Lagway is going to be asked to do. What I love about LSU is that they've got the continuity with Joe Sloan at offensive coordinator. They've got really good wide receivers, and they've got really good established running backs.
Yeah.
I think LSU might be the most complete team in college football this year.
So would you say he's in the best situation?
I think he's by far in the best situation. I think there's a pretty sizable, not gigantic, but a sizable gap between my 1 and 2, which is Nussmeier and Klubnik. Outside of that, you start looking at Drew Aller having kind of a thin, unproven wide receiver core, but them having continuity at offensive coordinator and having continuity at the running back position. And with Arch, we just don't know, right? There's still so many question marks about Arch and Texas this year.
So, look, on that point, I don't necessarily talking about the difference between Clemson's situation and LSU's situation. LSU every year is going to lose dudes in the NFL because they put dudes in the NFL.
Right.
It happens. Caleb Jackson, a junior, returning, a very physical, strong running back. He's expected to lead that rotation, right? You have Trey Holly, who's a younger guy, sophomore, shifty back. You have Caden Durham, who's also a sophomore. So I'm with you there. But where I will disagree is I think Clemson's wide receiver room is more complete. But if I had to agree with you, I'd give LSU's running back room the edge. So if you talk about the situation that Cade Klubnik and Garrett Nussmeier are in, I'd agree with you and say LSU's bringing back their running back. Clemson moved the guy from wide receiver to running back, and they're bringing in some young guys like Gideon, right? So we'll see how that running back room shakes out. I love Clemson's wide receiver room, but when you put the two together, that has to matter. So when you put the two together, only if we could see in the very first week who has the better weapons, right? Only if we could find out the very first week.
We are going to know.
I mean, I'm talking about these two quarterbacks outside of our list. You have other people who have done lists. Are we going to see the best two quarterbacks that first week in Clemson?
So, Cole, you're a betting man here, what if I told you that I set the over-under for the number of times Clemson and LSU would face each other this year at 1.5. What would you say?
Knee-jerk initial reaction, I'd say under, because LSU's schedule's brutal, and they'll probably lose a couple.
But they're a really good team that's
they're really
set
good.
up to make a playoff run.
They're veteran quarterback, and like I told you yesterday, I was really impressed with Garrett Nussmeier last year. I mean, he in my opinion, was the steady Eddie, if you will, of the SEC. What he did against South Carolina, coming back down 17. Everybody talks about Carolina blowing a 17-point lead, but how about giving Garrett Nussmeier credit for coming back down 17? So that's a good question. Let's answer it by looking at the schedule. LSU schedule. They have Clemson. So if you said it at what, 1.5?
Yep.
The meetings between those two. Okay, La Tech.
Okay.
Florida. That's in Baton Rouge. Maybe closer than expected, but we still feel like home game. That's a huge game early in the year.
They ought to win that game by 2 touchdowns. I wouldn't go any higher. I wouldn't go any higher than that. Yeah.
Then they have Southeastern Louisiana. Okay. We all know what that
CeeLo.
happened.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Then they have Ole Miss. At Ole Miss. No Jackson Dart, so you're really not, like, too concerned. You know, I mean, Ole Miss can give them problems, but no initial concern with Garrett Nussmeier. Homecoming. October 11th, LSU host Lenora Sellers, South Carolina. It could be a night game. Gamecocks could be walking into a night game at LSU. Let me tell you this.
All day with those drunk Cajuns.
This is completely random, but it just popped in my head. This has nothing to do with the conversation. If somehow, some way, we could snag a station vehicle, it would be so fun to drive to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, get credentialed, go watch LSU in South Carolina. I mean, that would be that atmosphere, especially if South Carolina goes in, 4 or 5-0. That would be a lot of fun.
Drive. Why don't we just take David Fields' jet?
Well, we could do that.
We'll fly private, man. If we're going to go, let's go in style.
How far is Baton Rouge from where we sit? Baton Rouge.
I've made that drive before. It's long.
I have to. But it's not terrible, though.
It's probably, 12?
9 hours and 46 minutes.
That's it.
That's not bad.
So 10 hours.
Yeah.
Plus stops. Takes more like 11.
We're men. We don't stop 18 times.
That's true. We got bottles for that reason. Wide mouth.
Right? So before we run to a break, real quick, they have A&M, Bama, Arkansas, Western Kentucky, and Oklahoma. I mean, they could, Diesel. They could see each other twice, but they have a tough schedule.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just begging the question, are both of these teams going to make the college football playoff? Do we think there's a chance they see each other again?
It'd be fun. It'd be fun, wouldn't it? Twice.
When we come back, Cole, let's jump back into the college baseball conversation as Coastal Carolina is starting to smell it, up 8-1. Louisville is on the board. We're going to talk to Andrew Riedell of College Baseball Central on the other side of the break, right here on the Fan Upstate.
Please remember, you got to do that live read.
Tolo's coming up next week. Our friends over at MTC Federal Credit Union are going to just as we were writing the Louisville Cardinals off, Cole, they have started a little mini rally against Coastal, 8-3 in the middle of the sixth inning. Coastal Carolina coming back up to bat. I mean, 5 runs still puts you in a really comfortable place to ultimately win this ball game, but certainly Coastal would love to keep putting some runs on the board as we get deeper and deeper into this game. We go to the phone lines right now to talk all things college baseball with Andrew Riedell of College Baseball Central. Find him on Twitter at Riedell, Riedell. Andrew on Twitter. Welcome into the show. First time we've had you on here, Andrew. How much of an impact, since we have watched the phenomenal performances in the pitching staffs of Arkansas, how much of an impact does Arkansas's Gage Wood throwing that complete game have on this team now that they're facing elimination? I guess it's Johnny Holsaff outside of Gage Wood for the Razorbacks.
Through that complete game, because tonight they'll probably start with Landon Chief, and then first one out of the gate, and I don't see him giving up the ball to anyone else. It will be Gabe Gackle. He's been phenomenal against LSU all year, but just having even Zach Root named Menace eating innings last night, it gives the Arkansas bullpen a lot of rest with tonight's winner go home game and then forcing that if necessary game tomorrow.
Hey, Andrew, it's Cole here. Appreciate you hopping on with us. We obviously are in the same state as Coastal Carolina, but when you and others across the country see what Coastal not only did in 2016, but are doing this season or doing right now as they're up 8-3, what is the viewpoint of Coastal Carolina from a national perspective in your mind?
I mean, I've been following Coastal all year. They've always been a top 15 team in my opinion. Now it's a top 5 team. I mean, it starts with Kane Bodine behind the plate, and then Jacob Morrison, who I've had the pleasure of talking to multiple times this week. They've just been phenomenal. And then you just had that like Mitchell coming up clutch for this team. And it starts with at the top of Tim Schnall. It's funny to say that his first year back with Coastal in 2016 was the first year they ever made Omaha. And then the first year he is head coach, he also moved to Omaha. But yeah, this Coastal team is legit. And if they do hold on to that, they are like a legitimate threat to take on whoever in the SEC they face.
Andrew, what did you learn about Louisville yesterday? You know, they had a lot of that grit to come back in the to hold Oregon State's comeback off in the ninth. You know, what are the chances here that they come back against this Coastal Carolina team that's got the 5-run lead?
I mean, it's never to die in college baseball, in my opinion. No lead is safe. Louisville's a very scrappy team. If they get hot, they can get hot. I mean, it starts in the middle of that lineup with Eddie King Jr. and Jake Monroe at third base. I mean, those guys have been phenomenal all across World Series. Today, it looks like Riley Eichel did get the best of him, but I mean, I wouldn't count out Coach McDonald and this team. Coach McDonald knows what to say to get this team going. And the top of the sixth, it looks like they started getting something going, but let's see if Louisville's pitching and keep putting up zeros out there.
So that's the conversation, Andrew, as we're joined by Andrew Riedell, College Baseball Central. By the way, quick note, are you in Omaha right now?
I am in Omaha. I'm actually in the very back of the press box. I'm watching this and talking to y'all. So
we appreciate you taking a little time away to join us live from the press box in Omaha, right here on the Fan Upstate. Andrew, when you talk about the potential, what could be, we touched on it. LSU, you cover them heavily, obviously, but then Coastal Carolina, from what you've seen as a whole body of work in 2025, just knee-jerk reaction. If that were the matchup, how would Andrew Riedell see that matchup going?
I would see it going 3 games. To be honest, I wouldn't be able to name a winner. I think it's very heavily matched up, especially if LSU Arkansas, if necessary situation happens. If it goes to tomorrow, Cade Anderson will probably throw for LSU. If Coastal holds on to that, Jacob Morrison's going to have the ball for game 1 on Saturday. So it all depends on really if LSU wins tonight, if they win tomorrow, if they use Ryan tonight, if they use Anderson tomorrow. But all in all, I think it's going to be a lot of really good pitching, a lot of really good timely hitting in a series like that.
Find Andrew on Twitter at Riedell Andrew. Go look for him and give him a follow. We would appreciate that. Show him the love and appreciation for being here on this station. You know, when you look at it over the course of time, what style of baseball in your mind do you think is most successful in winning once you get down to this 4-team level? LSU is a power hitting team. Louisville plays disciplined situational baseball, as does Coastal. Arkansas is kind of a mix of both. What style do you think more times than not ultimately wins this whole thing?
I mean, I think situational baseball, you're gonna have to play with adversity. You have to handle adversity. The team that has done that really well so far is Arkansas and Louisville. Arkansas, they go down and that loser's bracket, they could have been broke and already stayed, but of course they got a phenomenal pitching performance. Louisville, same thing. That error happens with Arquette, Northern State, and top of the ninth, and it looks like, oh, Louisville might be taking it on. But they put it against Northern State. They had the same thing. They had to overcome adversity. And I think it's just really good situational baseball and overcoming adversity. If you can overcome adversity at the highest stage of college baseball, you are going to succeed, and there's a very good chance you are going home as the national champion.
We're joined right now by Andrew Riedell, College Baseball Central. Andrew, for those listening in the upstate of South Carolina, talk us through what you're experiencing in the press box covering the College Baseball World Series, from everything from the food that you guys are eating in the press box to the views that you get and the inside information with interviews and that kind of stuff. I'm sure it's awesome to experience that.
Yeah, I mean, Thursday I came in Wednesday night for media day starting Thursday, so I was very fortunate to talk to a lot of top college baseball players. We ended up talking to Jacob Morrison on Thursday. We've had the opportunity to talk to Kane Bodine, both Carolina, but we've also gotten to talk to some top draft prospects. Kate Anderson at LSU, he'll be a top 10 pick in this upcoming draft. Avia Arquette, he'll be a top 10 pick in this upcoming draft. It's a once in a lifetime experience if you're very fortunate to cover college baseball. The food here, the food's been hit or miss, in my opinion, but I do go down to the concourse. There is some not over exciting food, but there is some pretty decent food there. But it's Omaha. It's been amazing. I'm gonna knock on some wood here because we've only gone into one rain delay, and yeah, everyone says if you come to Omaha, be aware of the rain, and we've only had one rain delay so far, so I'm hoping we don't get another one tonight.
Yeah, Andrew, I was looking at the forecast earlier today, and it looks like all that major stuff has already moved on out of the way. Still maybe some scattered stuff over central Nebraska that's moving your way. Does it look at the moment, and are they passing any information along to you guys as far as it pertains to Arkansas, LSU? Will there be any problems for that game, or do you expect smooth sailing?
We haven't heard anything, but we do have some people on the ground who just talk to us. I mean, I'm looking out the window right here. It looks weird, but it looks fine right now. But LSU and UCLA look beautiful out, and then they're already issuing a national thunderstorm warning. So it seems like everything's kind of moved fast here in Omaha with the weather. So and the big factor is the light. On Tuesday with that rain delay, it wasn't even really raining. It was just lightning. Lightning stayed inside that 8-mile radius, but hopefully we get smooth sailing tonight because we don't want to have to possibly play 2 tomorrow or 1 Thursday, 1 Friday. And next thing you know, Coastal Carolina has a 1-up advantage if they hold on here.
Andrew, my last question for you, man, before we let you run and get back to work, as we're probably holding you up, I'm sure. When you look at Arkansas, what happened the other day, Gage Wood, Diesel and I were in the studio doing the show live, watching it on our screens. Can you think back and from the people you've talked to, recall a time that we saw as college baseball fans something as significant as we saw on Monday with Gage Wood?
No, that was probably I was very fortunate to be here for that one. It's like that was probably one of the greatest pitching performances in baseball history, not just college baseball history, but just baseball history. The best thing about that was ESPN asked afterwards saying, when did you realize you had a no-hitter? And it's like, when I hit that one guy. It was really just a special moment. And talking to Arkansas coaches afterwards, because Gage Wood did miss a little bit of the season with an arm injury, and here he was at the biggest stage in college baseball, throwing 98 at 115 pitches. It was just a really special moment for the fans, for him, his family, his teammates, and just being able to cover that and watch it in person was just phenomenal.
You know, Andrew, Cole, and I, in this position, we've had the opportunity to cover a lot of college football. We've been in press boxes for NFL games. What was it like being in the press box for that moment? And we're all trained to keep our head down, to focus and not become fans in that moment. But that's got to be hard to do when you know that there's a special performance happening in front of you. So were you and your fellow baseball writers, were you giddy as this thing was happening, or did it stay fairly subdued and focused?
I think we're all focused. Obviously, trying to stay non-biased, but it's like in the back of your head, you're like, okay, this is happening. This is happening. In Omaha, they have the microphone, the field microphone, kind of pumping into the press box. So Gage would got hyped at the end of the 8th inning, 7th inning. You could hear some of those friendly words he was yelling into the press box. So it was just like there was little chuckles of laughter there, but it was mostly just kind of like just quiet because everyone was like observing it, just like witnessing history. It's like everyone's reporting on it, but everyone's just enjoying history as it was happening.
Andrew, great stuff, man. We appreciate you taking time to hop on with us and have a lot of fun out there, man.
No, thank you guys for having me on.
Absolutely. Andrew Riedell, College Baseball Central. Again, as Diesel said, you can give him a follow on Twitter, on X, at Riedell Andrew. That's Riedell. We had yesterday Gage Wood's coach from high school on the show today, reporter live from the press box in Omaha. Diesel, we're probably setting expectations too high because here in about a week or two, there's not going to be no games to report on. We're going to be calling the butcher over here at Ingles Markets to interview him. But two really good guests, 2 back-to-back days. So appreciate Andrew hopping on with us. Good stuff there.
Yeah, fantastic. And he was and baseball writers, are a funny bunch. They hyper focus in on certain details of the game. And as you hear him saying, like, the back of your mind, you knew, like, oh my God, this is happening. Oh my God, this is happening. Oh my God, this is happening. How do they not get a little giddy and chat it up with the other members and say, hey, this hasn't happened in 65 years. We could be seeing something really special going on in front of us.
Yeah.
I don't know how you hold that together.
Don't say it.
Yeah, don't say the words.
Right. Oh, man, it was Wire to Wire. Diesel and I are on location at Ingles Markets. Show, what are we at now? Show 304, rocking and rolling, heading toward the 400 mark. I was scrolling through our Facebook memories. Look at you and I a year ago today.
Oh my!
I was fat in the face.
Well, I had the big beard.
I was fat, man. I'm telling you what, those memories pop up, and you're like, dang. I don't want to look at these memories.
Now it's a good memory because you're doing better now.
I am doing better, but and that's why I'm not eating that.
Oh, well,
okay.
Yeah,
I had that puffy face going on.
How much do you think you're down from then to today?
I'll tell you this. 3 weeks ago to today, I'm down. From 3 weeks ago, 3 Fridays ago to today, I'm down. Let me do the quick math. 14 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've lost 14 in about 3 weeks.
Wow.
I'm strict what I eat right now. I mean, miserably strict. So, but you know what? It shows up here. I mean, that video of a year ago, Tolos, y'all could have told me I was just fat in the face. These big old puffy cheeks I had a year ago. Come on.
Dan B messages in on the stream. Good to know that you're still with us over there. Jump in, everybody, on the Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube feeds at The Fan Upstate. He says, oh, my God, Denny Hamlin just signed yet another lame sponsor, Bob's Discount Furniture. So you got that one, PDS Debt, Progressive, Sport Clips, and Yahoo. 5 different paint schemes this year. Nothing says NASCAR's doing great like Bob's Discount Furniture.
Bob. Who's Bob?
Are they going to get his car sponsored by Ollie's Good Stuff Cheap?
I like Ollie's.
I do like
I
Ollie's.
like Ollie's.
I have fun in Ollie's, but still, I mean, it doesn't inspire a lot of confidence in the sponsors that they're able to get.
Speaking of inspiring confidence, man, last night was the only night in 2025 Diesel that I was truly filled with joy, that I was truly excited. It was the first time in the entire year of 2025 that I was truly excited, truly inspired. We'll tell you why. Coastal Carolina now up 9-3. Why was last night the best night? Not the best night, but why did I experience joy when it comes to sports for the first time in 2025? We'll tell you next. Well, it took 2.5 to 3 months, but I finally had that feeling last night, Diesel. I finally
That loving feeling?
no, well, kind of.
Had you lost it?
As a Braves fan, last night was the coolest, the best experience I've had in the 2025 season. It was a rough start. The Braves did bounce back, but after they bounced back, as a Braves fan last night, or not last night, but after the bounce back, after the rough start, you thought, okay, real bad start. You bounce back, win a few games, Diesel. However, guess what? We still don't think this team's really good. And then they go on a really bad slump. They lose more. So you really hadn't experienced much joy as a Braves fan. Now, last night, the 45-win New York Mets come into town. One of the best teams in baseball. You're down, 4-0. Let's see, Mets scored 1 in the first, 2 in the second. 3-1. Then you go down 4-1. So you're down 4-1. 8th inning rolls around. The Braves put up a 3 spot in the 8th and a 1 spot in the 10th and defeat the New York Mets 5-4. Diesel, I know they might not win another game against the Mets in this series. However, last night it showed that this team does have a little bit of guts. They do have a little bit of heart. They were down 3-1. They were down 4-1 at one time, and they come back and find a way to win. The home crowd, I had not experienced that this year. Maybe it doesn't happen again. Maybe this is the only time. But, boy, that's what it's supposed to feel like as a Braves fan.
Yeah, I mean, Ronnie's hitting the ball well. He went 1 for 2. He scored 2 runs. He played really well. He's seeing the ball really, really well. Still need Matt Olson to pick it up just a little bit. Austin Riley didn't have himself a big day, but Ozuna sure as heck did.
Ozuna's
so
a
when you got
beast, man.
when you got Acuna and Ozuna hitting the ball well, those two together can keep you in ball games. Certainly, you need like 1 or 2 more guys that are hitting the ball well, and this team could be on fire. Speaking of on fire, Coastal Carolina extends its lead on the weight of a bases-loaded walk with 2 outs from the Louisville pitcher. They had a reliever in the bullpen trying to get ready, and they couldn't quite get him ready in time. And the Louisville pitcher walks a batter in. It is now 10-2.
And look, I'll say one more time. I get that as a Braves fan, what happened last night might not happen much. I get that. However, when you look at how awesome last night was to watch that game, to watch them come back, to watch them rally and put together Ozuna 3 RBI night, it just hasn't happened, and it was so rewarding. Maybe, just maybe, Diesel, that can be the spark that sends the Atlanta Braves on a run. We'll see.
Apologies, I told you wrong. It is 10-3 Coastal. So Coastal has a 7-run lead going into the top of the 7th. Again, Louisville batting as the away team. They have 3 more opportunities, 9 more outs, Cole, to pick up 7 more runs. We'll see what happens. When we come back, the one, the only Melissa Level is going to join us right here on the Fan Upstate for Melissa's Moment. Florida State activity, NIL, all kinds of stuff we're going to talk about with Melissa next. Melissa trapped between her two favorite things, food and sports.
Yeah.
Right
That's
here on location.
true. Would you look at that? I was glued to the Coastal Carolina game, and I was like, "Are they still going? Are they still going?" I can't. I hope so much. If they win this, they're in the series. The
They're in the
That's
finals.
it.
Yeah.
So
They
that'd be
make their way to
between
the
them,
final.
and would it be against who?
LSU and Arkansas.
They play
Whichever
And they're
one
still
wins
doing
tonight.
it. And what do you think?
LSU.
I think LSU wins it tonight, and so it's going to be Coastal LSU for the national championship in a three-game series.
And what do you think?
I like Coastal's
I
pitching.
do too, because
I really like their pitching.
and that's a comeback for them. I mean, they've been here before.
Only thing
Right.
that concerns me is you don't get a break between now and the finals. So, like, if Coastal had 4 days to get all of their pitchers ready, and not, like their
But
pitchers.
LSU is the same thing.
Right,
Whoever
but
wins
I'm
that
just,
too,
and then
right?
that's, but the point is, I think LSU might be a little bit deeper. We'll see. I could be wrong.
Oh, I don't know. I like the
could be wrong.
pitching.
I
think you.
I hope I'm wrong. I'm pulling for Coast. I think we should all.
Wow.
Don't you think we
Well,
should all?
Oh, I do.
in-state
Yeah, I
pull
do
for
think.
Coastal?
Yeah,
if,
yeah.
if Arkansas wins tonight, they'll have to play another game against each other
Right.
to see who gets eliminated
That's
there.
right.
So that means
Tomorrow.
Coastal may have to sit a little bit and may cool
That-
off.
I know. I
Yeah,
hate
when
that
they need
because
to be
you really
playing
want to
ball.
be playing at your best at the very end, and you don't want that break. I think that those bye weeks are terrible in any sport. I really do. I think they cool you off.
So let me ask you this question: do you think the only thing you've lived in South Carolina a long time now? Well, you lived in the Carolinas long
That's
enough.
right. Well, yeah. I mean, but
So,
I'm here all the time.
You're here
so
all the time. Do
yeah, I
you
feel like
think
a South Carolina.
Coastal being in the College World Series is the one thing that can bring Clemson and South Carolina fans together?
Yeah, I do.
They can pull for the same team,
Right,
Melissa.
but Clemson's out of it, and when you like, for example, ACC. If my team is out of it, then I pull for the ACC team if they're still in it,
Sure.
right? Whatever it might be. So I think it's a conference thing. So it's also a state thing.
Okay.
Right? It would
Yeah.
be more difficult if it was
Put your
University of
differences
South
aside.
Carolina.
Yeah,
No.
yeah,
Okay, that would be different,
yeah, yeah.
right?
Talking live on location at 10903 Anderson Road in Piedmont with Melissa Level, Director of Marketing for Ingles Markets. She's here with us every other Wednesday as we're on
That's
location
right.
here at an Ingles Market. So you've caught us in kind of an interesting time of the sports calendar, right?
Yeah.
NBA finals are coming to a
I know.
close. NHL finals are now over.
Over.
Florida wins another Stanley Cup.
It doesn't say that Florida wins.
Yeah.
That's
Feels
an
weird.
oxymoron.
College baseball is coming to a close. So
I
we're
know.
about to enter this like no man's land
Yeah.
where
Dead zone.
now it's like 8 weeks of leading into college football. So
Yeah,
I'm going
plus
to
you
put
have
you,
a preseason football.
yeah, I'm going to
You
put
have
you
camps,
to
right?
the screws right out of the gate here. Okay.
Mhm.
If I told you that Florida State wins one of, but not both, of the Miami and Florida matchups that you have this year, you playing Carson Beck in Miami at Florida State October 4th, and you go on the road against Florida November 29th. Which one of those teams does Florida knock off?
We beat Miami.
You beat Miami, but not Florida.
Well, it said I had to pick one or the other.
Yeah.
I'd like to do both.
Well, you can't.
Okay.
That's the rules.
No. I mean, we probably
Ah.
could, but if I had to pick one, I say first of all, it's a home crowd.
Yeah.
It's early in the season. I expect us to have a good shoot out of the gate. I really do. I think we have to. The new stadium's all done. The big crowd, everything's up. So I think we have a better opportunity at that point.
Plus, Carson Beck's too busy chasing co-eds on that campus at Miami to.
But I wouldn't say that ours are not chasing co-eds. But I think, who knows? Our coach might be chasing
well,
co-eds.
he chose Miami to go with the Cavender twin, and
Right.
then he
They broke up.
broke
They
up with him,
broke up,
and he's
now what they're gonna do.
chasing girls all over campus.
Yeah, he's gonna have to come and get one of those Clemson gymnastic girls, right?
Not bad, not
yeah,
bad.
that
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you this. I want to go back to something you said. I think I've been saying this all along, and I think this is why everybody's surprised. But they don't need to be. They shouldn't be surprised when you hear Florida win the Stanley Cup. I've always said Florida is not the South.
Right.
If you've ever been to Florida, you know it's not the
Right.
South.
Mhm.
It's not.
Parts of it are.
Yeah. Well, we
It-
have one problem though. Okay?
So when you say like the hockey, you're surprised at this. I consider Florida just like I mean,
well, like for example, it would be like the Tampa winning, right? Okay. Okay. They're still Florida. Okay, but no one thought they were going to get the fans that they got.
yeah.
Okay,
I think there's more
when the-
Northerners though in Florida than there is Southerners.
in certain parts,
Yeah.
definitely. In the Panhandle, no. Okay, and that whole area up in there.
Lower
but definitely,
Alabama.
yes, definitely. But you got that Miami-Dade, Fort Lauderdale,
Sure.
definitely come from the northern tier of the United
Sure.
States. And then you have more people moving to Tampa for business as well. So they're coming from hockey states as well.
That's
So-
right.
And you got a lot of California people coming over. So you're going to I think in the next few years, going to see a big NBA team in the Tampa um, area, I think.
It'd
really
be
do.
nice to see the Magic just move on out because they can't get anything done
Right.
in Orlando anyway. It's Wire to Wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson here at Ingles Markets. We talked about it over the past 6 months or so, and we've commended Ingles so much for the work that Ingles did after Helene happened
Right.
in North Carolina. And I know you've got stores in Virginia, you've got stores in Tennessee, you've got stores
right.
all over the Southeast. We're seeing, devastating stuff happening
Flooding,
in
all sorts of
West
things we're working
Virginia and areas up there too.
Mhm.
Is Ingles a part of that?
Yes, one thing that we do, okay, that's really great about Ingles is we have, of course, as you know, our ice capabilities. We have our own ice company, right? And so we can deliver anywhere, actually, in the world through the U.S. Army. Okay, ice and things for those kind of.
I
food
didn't know we were going for
preservation.
that for a minute. That's
Yeah.
a sensitive subject right now.
Right. No, seriously. For example, when hurricane hit in the Bermuda and
Yeah.
all those, okay, we had food drives in every one of our stores, and the Army came and put them in transport, okay, to go with FEMA to go down and help and deliver for that. We work a lot with Samaritan's Purse, which works all over the world. Samaritan's Purse and Ingles are really big partners.
That's awesome.
To the point of them, of course, helping us, by purchasing gift cards with us to give to people on a long-term basis. But we donate a lot of Hearts with Hands is another worldwide relief. Hearts with Hands is based out of Swannanoa, North Carolina, and they go all over the world for every kind of disaster: fire, flood, hurricane, earthquake, volcano, anything like that. So you're seeing that happen. So when you look at us and you say, gee, you can go to any one of the states in the 50 states. No, we go worldwide.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the first people call say Hearts with Hands, we need this, we need that, or Samaritan's Purse, we need that. And it might be just helping the people that are going to do that. Okay. That might be providing them with supplies in order to help other people. Or it might be putting together lots of boxes. Of course, we've got our shoe boxes that we do every year too. So yeah, we're on the scene just about anyway. One of our biggest reliefs was Hurricane Harvey, and then also when Baton Rouge flooded, we took multiple truckloads of goods every single week to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We don't have a store anywhere near that, but
Sure.
we did that because that's the United States of America and all the world is when you're in need. That's one of those things that's Ingles' mission statement.
Yeah.
We work with really good relief agencies. We don't go ourselves. Okay.
Sure.
But you might not see Ingles, taking that stuff ourselves out there in our little polo shirts, like an event, right? But you're going to see, if you see Hearts with Hands there, if you see Samaritan's Purse there, if you see the Red Cross there, 9 times out of 10, we've at least contributed to some of that relief.
Now, the most important question, the most important conversation to be had today. Does Melissa Level have any plans this weekend?
I do.
Can you go into detail of what those
I'm getting
plans?
married.
Congratulations to you and Kevin,
That's
right?
yes, to Kevin,
You
right?
and Kevin.
And his last name is Hitch. Think about that one. We're
Oh,
gonna-
wow. That is
Isn't
great.
that funny?
Congratulations. So let's blow up the text line with congratulations
Aw,
to Melissa
thanks,
at
guys.
844
That's
fan
so
phone. Let's
sweet.
do
Yeah,
that.
we're so excited. We met 15 years ago. We've actually been together for a long time, but we really, we just, he's my best friend, and we're in the same business. He works for WLOS in Asheville, North Carolina for Sinclair, and we met doing a commercial. He's a commercial producer and videographer and editor, and so we happened to meet there. And we had a couple of those. Okay, not a good time. Then was a good time. Then not a good time. And then finally we all got together, and he's been my guy ever since.
So they're going to give you a new name tag, or are you going to officially
I'm
stay
keeping my-
Melissa
I'm
Level?
keeping my name.
You're
And
not
the
going to be
only-
Melissa Hitch
Well, I'm going to be Melissa Hitch in my heart.
legally.
Yes. Okay.
Legally.
But it's really hard because I do so much work with so many people. I think it'd be really a difficult adjustment. I might hyphenate. I haven't decided.
So Cole buttered you up with an easy question. I'm going to buddy you up, but I'm going to hit you with a hard question right now.
You're going to have me on. I haven't been thinking this week.
Well, that's
My
me
dre-
every week.
My dress fit, and I got a marriage license to prove that we weren't cousins.
My question for you,
What they
Melissa.
don't know won't hurt them.
Everybody knows because
Right.
they've been listening to this station for a long time.
Right.
Professional cheerleader with the Buccaneers
right.
and a cheerleader with the Florida State Seminoles as well.
And the circus school.
Is cheerleading a sport?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
At the college level,
Uh-oh.
at the high school level, high school and college, absolutely.
Were you
Pro-
a competition cheerleader as well?
There were always competitions in high school.
Okay.
Okay, and in college. But there's different levels in college. There's a dance team, there's a cheer team, right? Okay, and there's a spirit team. Okay, so you have 3 different levels in college. But in high school, you have a cheerleading squad, and they compete on a state level and a national level if you make it that far.
Mm.
And that you have to be an athlete. I mean, you are tumbling, you're doing the jumps, you're doing all those things much different. An NFL cheerleader, dancing mostly, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know that they have. I don't even think they didn't have one when I was there. I don't know if they have a competition, but college has a competition in each one of those categories, and cheer squads do, and it's a sport because.
See, I've
And ask any male cheerleader
I
in college and high school if it's a sport.
I say this because I like to needle people.
Uh-huh.
This is one of my long held opinions here,
Right.
and it's okay to have wrong opinions.
Right.
And
Mhm.
some people may think this is wrong. I think it's not a sport unless there's defense, and that cheerleading, while very impressive,
Mhm.
is a choreographed athletic performance,
Now let me just ask you
which
this.
is different from
Do
a
you
sport.
think it's good defense if you're on the bottom part of a
Oh,
pyramid?
man.
Okay, you better have good defense right there, or you're going to lose the
That's true.
quarterback
Or you
at
can lose
the
your
top,
teeth.
right?
Yeah, you can lose your teeth too if a foot comes down or a knee comes.
And also, it's a sport if you can get injured, right? Okay.
Oh, okay, if you can sprain your knee, it's a
Okay.
sport.
I don't know how many times you hit your head, you break an ankle, arm, whatever, because those little pyramids are not nothing. Okay,
Yeah.
they really are. And the jumps, can you do a split?
I can barely get off the ground. What are you talking
good.
about?
Okay, all right. See there,
Ah.
I'm going to tell you, a split is not dancing. Okay, a spread eagle jump is not dancing. These things are going high up in the air.
Can you still do the splits?
And absolutely not. It would leave. It would leave a mark.
Saturday night. No splits on Saturday
And
night.
that one that would not be very good for this weekend.
Melissa, Brad in Inman, South Carolina says congratulations
Thank
to
you,
Melissa.
Brad.
Good to hear from you, Brad. Let's talk about American Legion, something that's come back to Furman, you know,
That's
and
right.
it's really big for the area. Can you
Right.
talk about what's going on this summer?
Yeah, well, American Legion Baseball in Greenville has been gone for many years. And they lost their field to be able to play. And so, Ingles has a relationship with Furman and with the Southern Conference.
Yes.
And we also have a relationship with the American Legion. We
Yeah.
do their Good Fellows every year with their food donation at Christmas at the Bon Secours Arena. And so I said, hey, there's a field that no one's using, and there's a team that wants to play. And these are great high school athletes. They're playing summer ball during high school. They hope to be able to get some scouting looks, some extra, pitches and things.
Yeah.
And so it's a great opportunity. And people love American Legion baseball. I mean, it's all American. You can't get any more American than that. It's just a great place to
What
play.
post is it? Do you know off the top of your head?
Post 3.
Post 3.
Yes.
I love it.
Mhm.
We're also in a stage of nostalgia where I think people are realizing the cutting costs that we've been,
Right.
all industries have been doing for the
Right.
last 30 years. It's stripping a lot of things that made life special away, and we're finding a good reason to reinvest in some of
Oh,
those
and
things.
people used to like to come to Furman, and you have to give Furman all the credit for giving us the opportunity to utilize the field. They clean it up for us. They open the restrooms. Ingles is donating all the concession as well. But
Wow.
Ingles is paying the fee for the use of the field, but they've done a really wonderful job of making that really very reasonable. for
Follow
them.
up to that, do you think Furman will ever get baseball back?
Well, they have softball,
Mhm.
right? And I don't know. I would think that it would be important in the SoCon these days when you're looking at so much money needing to come in because of NIL. I think it's
To have, what do you mean by that?
I mean, I just think it's an opportunity
To
to
bring
get,
in, okay,
uh,
gotcha.
baseball's a great opportunity to bring in good NIL players.
Melissa, we haven't had a chance to talk to you since this House versus NCAA settlement that
Right.
got
Mhm.
finalized last week, $20.5 million, up to $20.5 million. And the big schools like Clemson, Florida State, Alabama, South Carolina, they'll all probably max that out.
Mhm.
But I just wonder who's going to be footing that bill in your mind. I mean, is it going to be the
TV.
sponsors or is it going to be fans?
Well, you have a collective,
Yeah.
okay, which is separate from your sponsors. Right now, sponsors have an opportunity to do a collective, which they put money into a separate organization that goes into the college, right? Okay, and that pays for NIL, sponsors, NIL players, development, recruiting, that kind of thing. And then you have sponsors who still sponsor the team. They get their name on the field. They do all that other stuff that brings money into the athletic department, because that's been a real problem. Because when you took money away from the ADs, you had to need these huge TV contracts. But television will pay a lot of that. I think you'll have setting up some sort of situation. For example, a lot what we're doing, some of the things that we're thinking about doing right now in negotiation with Clemson will also include NIL money in it. Okay, which means we'll have use of some of that
Sure.
property. Like, I don't
I
want
love that.
so we would be kind of combining that. But I think if you may get sponsors, but you're going to get people paying for it. Alumni will pay for it in collective. Okay, and I think some of your TV deals would do that, where you're going to really have to pull on your alumni and sponsors and your SoCons.
What's your opinion on Diesel? And I talked about this last week. A follow up to Diesel's question: revenue sports that don't generate revenue 10, 15 years from now. Do you see a concern with this new model that we're going to, that those might be eliminated?
I think you're going to see sports generate revenue. For example, look at UNCA Asheville, University of North Carolina Asheville. They just invested millions of dollars into their track and field facility. Okay, that used to be considered something that really wasn't a money generator. Okay,
Sure.
All right, and now you're gonna host tournaments there. You're gonna be able to generate money for classics through high school and junior high school tournaments. Track and field for summer play, all those kind of things that'll generate income and money.
And they don't
into
have
the
football,
school.
correct?
No.
Okay,
They have
gotcha.
basketball, baseball,
baseball.
no softball,
Yeah.
baseball, and those are things where they're right now just starting to really pick up.
Sure.
Basketball's their big money generator, but
Okay.
track and field, they just had they just had tournaments there for the Southern Conference. All these things are going to have. They had a SoCon tournament at a big South school for track and field.
But you think when you talk about track and field events, you think they actually make money off of that?
I think they will.
Not gross, but
I think they will, because they're going to make the facilities a nice place to go.
Gotcha.
You're also going to be hosting some things that people have to pay for
Yeah.
to go to. Like, you're going to get money from a conference, or you're going to
Gotcha.
get money from an organization to have their tournament there.
So do
right?
you think it's going to be on each individual program at the sports that don't generate revenue from school to school to school to figure out how to generate money through sponsorships?
Right.
If it's
Sponsorships or events,
UNCA and
or-
they get a deal with, and I'm just making the Under Armour, for example,
Right.
and that's the big sponsor for UNCA.
Right.
Is that how they're going to have to do it
They'll
now?
do some of that, they'll have that, but I really think that you look at that and you think, wow, you're going to look at having a new way to make money. Okay, if you upgrade your
Sure.
facilities, put money in. I mean, look at women's basketball. Let's just be college women's basketball.
Yeah.
Okay, there was a time when I don't think that was a big revenue generator. Okay,
And for 99% of schools, it still isn't.
right, but it does help now. You get more TV because those schools have to play those schools that it is.
Sure.
Okay, so you're getting more TV deals, you're getting more things that happen. It's growing because of the spotlight on it. Okay, so if you can start putting the spotlight on it, but look, Mike Furman didn't keep baseball. Okay, because
So-
it wasn't generating a lot of income.
when you look at schools like UNCA,
Mhm.
by the way, the first ever baseball game that I called play-by-play for in the snow was at UNCA.
Isn't that
The
crazy?
snow game.
Yeah,
Isn't
yeah,
that
no.
crazy?
But March, wasn't it March?
It was March, yeah.
Right.
That was
Yeah, that
years
wasn't
ago.
Do anything, and that's an Ingles sponsored school, by the way.
When you look at UNCA, Melissa, and other schools that don't have football, like USC Upstate,
another Ingles
Anders-
sponsored school,
Anderson just added football.
right?
Do you think you'll start to see more of these schools say, hey, we need to add football to generate that revenue?
I don't think they're going to be able to afford to add anything. I
Oh,
think
wow.
you have to take what you have and figure out how to generate revenue for
Gotcha.
it, or you're going to see sports programs go away altogether.
So you said earlier, before you came on the air with us, that you have a photographic memory,
I do.
and you were just listing off like that's an Ingles school, that's an Ingles school, that's an Ingles school.
Mhm.
Do you know specifically or roundabout just how many schools Ingles sponsors in some way or another
15
at the collegiate level?
at the collegiate and yeah, and I'm not even talking high school. Yes, in different conferences.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have all of the SoCon, which is 9 schools.
Yep.
We have Dog Nation with University of Georgia. We have the Ingles Tiger Tailgate Show.
Yep.
We have USC Upstate, and we have USC UNCA,
Yeah.
and Gardner Webb. Is that 15? That's 15. That
Yeah,
might be more.
Close to
And
it.
they're all right here in the region.
Did you
right?
say
Yeah.
West? You said all the
This is
SoCal,
where our
right?
Tolos are sending their kids to college, and
That's
that's
right.
Ingles Markets
That's right.
supporting them.
And we support the athletes there. Right? One thing a lot of people don't know about what Ingles does is when we go in and sponsor an individual school, we also sponsor what's called a food insecurity initiative. And each month we donate $500 to each individual food bank
that's
in
cool.
order to be able for their students and some people, foreign exchange students, that just don't have the ability to work and they're hungry.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. And so not everybody gets a big amount of money coming in to be an athlete, right? You might just be coming in to be an engineer. And we do things with Clemson Life, or we do things with other things with different charities. Most schools have individual programs that also help the community, and we always help with those. And of course, you know, our 3 for 3 was $3 for every 3-pointer in basketball, $100 for every field goal in football, and $1 for every strikeout. So those
That's
money
awesome.
goes to charity on the charity on behalf that they pick at each individual university.
Ingles is everywhere. They're
They're
doing
everywhere.
everything. They're
Yeah.
throwing that weight around. They're throwing that money around all over the place.
We love doing that because it
Yeah.
brings community in. And also, I think it's a great opportunity to show the student that, hey, listen, this is your opportunity to get involved with the community. Kind of sets a habit, right?
Sure.
To
Yeah.
be a socially conscious individual.
So earlier you brought over 2 big old delicious
I did.
slices of German chocolate cake. One of them is still on the table.
Yours is gone.
The other one is gone. And
I'm
so
sorry, Mrs. Diesel.
I've had my dessert. Now because I love breakfast pastries too.
That's right.
If I can only go over there and get one breakfast pastry to take home to have tomorrow morning, what do I need to get?
Fried croissant.
The fried croissant. I've
Mm.
never had a fried
Yeah, we got
croissant.
them over there. They're beautiful. They look a little like an elephant ear. You've seen those things?
Sure.
Yeah.
But they're a croissant and they're fried and they are like, they're
Oh,
decadent.
my.
They're decadent. You get some with chocolate in them.
Out of this
and
world.
Oh, you had me.
Yeah.
You had me at the word fried, and then
Yeah,
you had
fried-
chocolate. Now
yeah,
it's now I
fried
got
croissant.
to
some.
beat.
They're in with the donuts. In the
Oh,
fresh
okay.
donuts, right?
That's hard.
Go.
Which are also delicious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love it.
My personal favorite would be the apple fritter. I love the
We
apple
had some of
fritter.
those
got some
not
of those,
long ago.
and they were
Yeah.
amazing. Best apple fritters I've ever had.
It's
I love
so
them. They're
good.
famous for their apple fritters, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, Melissa, let's
So you're
get
gonna
in-
try your German chocolate?
I
cake?
am. I
Okay.
might take it home with me,
That's
but I am
good.
going to try it.
Okay, all right.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this. My local Ingles, can we get an update? I go in several times a week
Mhm.
because you keep teasing that something is coming to that
Well,
Ingles.
little
It's-
things have been added a lot as we're going along, but we do have, things that we still are waiting to do to complete for construction.
and you're saying
that
like
are-
first ever things, right?
Right? Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
There's one of them's up already. But
Oh, I
yeah.
remember these.
Yeah.
I remember.
One is now the individual already ready to take it home and bake meals. That you have to. That you
Okay.
just
Those
have
are
to-
awesome, by
Yeah,
the way.
and they are terrific, and you have many opportunities. It's not just the hot bar anymore, but now you have a case that has
It's
like
huge.
a meat and
Yeah.
a potato and a veggie or a roll or something that goes with it, and you take it home and you can microwave it. It's already ready for you to put on. You just put it on
Yep.
a plate.
So he said the word first. Is that the first store that's
That
going to
is.
have that?
That is, and those are
Wow.
already in there. Those are
Those are in there.
Oh,
Yeah, I've seen them.
yeah.
Goodness.
I'm telling you what I do. This sounds crazy. I go in my local Ingles in Bowling Springs all the time. Tolos, if you live in Bowling Springs toward Lake
That's right.
Bowen on Highway 9, you know what I'm talking about. I love just when you walk into the right. I love just looking now because
Right.
it's just all new. The area that this Ingles
Right.
has back, it's almost like a mini kitchen over there. You know
That's
what I'm
right.
talking about? What
and
is
the,
that?
And the prep area,
The
which
prep
is really
area.
good. It was
Yeah.
terrific, and that's a produce prep area. And let me tell you, half the reason we don't eat the right produce is because we hate to like slice, dice, and
Sure.
chop everything. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, it takes all that time. This produce prep will cut fruit for you. They'll core a pineapple for you. They'll chop
You
every
can get
vegetable.
peanut butter right there out
you
of the
can,
thing.
You can make your own
Peanut butter.
homemade peanut butter.
Put the peanuts in.
You have the
Peanut butter comes out.
wonderful nuts and candy area that's like an old general store,
store,
where
yeah.
you can pick up all your different kinds of candy and put them in there. The salad bar, you can go wing bar, olive bar,
Can't beat it.
everything. Then of course you have your hot meals, which are already done, or you can get the ready to make.
Yeah.
Then they're done. They just need to be
Yeah.
heated up.
Do you
Like,
like olives, by
Kevin-
the way?
I love olives. Are you telling me you don't like olives? Oh, what is
Mm.
wrong with him?
So when you,
I don't like
I,
olives.
What
I
is
don't, I
wrong
don't like
with-
olives either.
Oh, what's wrong with both of you?
I don't like olives. I pick them off a pizza. If they're on a pizza, just pluck them off.
I've always wondered why Ingles had
You
an
need to
olive bar.
save
Now I
those
know it's
They're,
memories.
Melissa.
they're waxy. They're salty.
Well, now you're right. If you go to the olive bar, though,
Uh,
you haven't tried an olive that is stuffed with garlic,
okay. So
okay, or with cheese or feta or really cool
Can I
stuff.
say
you
something
put
that
olives
might,
in your martini.
Yes.
let me say this.
I love a
This
dirty
might
martini.
surprise you. I don't know that I've ever eaten an olive.
Ever?
Ever.
Well, then you need to try one to say you don't like one. I mean, I think you
I
probably.
don't know that
We
I've
could
ever-
go to the bar right
Yeah,
now and get you an
you got-
olive. You could
We'll
try
get
it
an
live on the air.
I will bring you some olives from the bar. And
I
you can
just-
eat them right
I've
live on the air.
never thought they looked good. Do you think?
You know, I think that you would taste them and you would really like them. Do you like wine?
Not really.
Do you like beer?
No.
No beer, no beer.
No,
Well,
I
you
don't-
might not like it because I only have olives and
So
His palate needs some work.
it
Yeah,
does.
it does. We're gonna have to
It does.
refine it.
It's weird. This is crazy. I was having this conversation. Tell me if Diesel and Melissa, if you've noticed this. I don't know why. This is so random. I was talking about this with somebody the other day. Does y'all's taste for certain foods change as you get older?
Yes.
I don't know.
It
Is that
does.
not the weirdest thing?
It does. I mean, when you're a kid, you'll want nothing but dino nuggets and,
Yeah,
and
chicken
But I'm
nuggets,
saying,
mac
like,
and cheese.
You know what?
yeah.
Let me
I
tell you
still
what.
love that stuff.
Let
but
me
yeah,
tell you what mine is. This is weird. I'm gonna get slander for this because it's a southern.
You like steak.
I do like steak, but I don't like eggs anymore. Like I
You know,
found
a lot of
myself
people don't really
not
like eggs.
liking eggs.
Well, first of all,
No.
there's eggs in almost everything, so you don't know
Well,
sometimes when
but
you're
just
eating
like
they,
the
they only
last-
cost $25 for a 6-pack. Not at Ingles, by the
Not
way.
at Ingles.
no,
No.
but,
definitely not at
uh,
Ingles. Definitely not at
not at
Ingles.
Ingles.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. That's the
Do you
one
still
food.
like milk?
Yeah, but that's
See,
the
like,
one
that's the
food
one I
that's
like.
gone away.
I don't drink
for me.
milk anymore.
That's the one I. The one I like.
Yeah, I don't drink milk.
I'm not a milk
You don't drink
drinker.
I eat eggs every day, but I don't drink milk anymore.
Yeah,
See,
see,
Eggs just are nasty to me for some reason now. I don't
And-
know why.
and that's that's one of those things that is pretty common. Okay, and changing.
You got to get
Eggs,
on hot sauce. Once you start putting hot sauce on everything, it changes.
or have a really cool
And then it's the
omelet.
question: do you like the hot sauce or do
Yeah.
you like the meal that it's on?
It's weird.
Yeah,
isn't it?
no, Kevin, my Kevin, okay, covers everything with either cayenne pepper. or hot
Future
sauce.
husband, Kevin.
So tell us real quick about Kevin.
No, he's terrific, but he has to have everything has to be excruciating hot and spicy. He has
Really?
everything, and this really bugged me when I would cook something. I'd say, "Well, don't you want to taste it first? It's like all this cayenne pepper and all this hot sauce and everything. Like, just taste it first and try it first." Like, oh no, it's just wonderful. I'm sure it's wonderful. Those hot sauce, everything. No, it's
You know,
like
there's a
his-
company in
his
Malden that.
palate is fried.
Where's he,
Okay?
where's he from, Melissa?
He's from Florida. He's from Boca Raton.
Oh.
No way.
Oh, he's from Daddle Pepper Country.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. You know, there's a company in Malden that sells the hottest hot pepper seeds you can get.
Well, he's probably gotten them.
Yeah. It's,
Yeah.
it's right here in the upstate, and
Yeah.
they sell the seeds.
I keep trying to get to one that.
Are
he
we ever
can't
gonna
eat.
get- are
I
we
keep
ever gonna
thinking
get
if I do
a-
that, destroy the need for hot?
Melissa and Kevin appearance on the Pen
Yes.
Upstate.
Yeah, we've been here before. Yeah, he's been to events before with me. So yeah, maybe so.
That'd be
He
awesome.
works during the day. You know, he works for a living, not like
Sure,
us.
sure.
Yeah, we just sit around and goof off, talk sports.
Well, we've enjoyed our time together as always.
Thank
Congratulations
you so
on
much.
this weekend.
Next time I see you, I will be hitched.
Be a married.
Literally. Literally. You're the
Are
best.
you going to be able to lift your arm off the table with that big old ring he's going to put on?
Probably.
Ah.
He works in television.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
we get it.
that's fair.
We get it.
That's right.
We get it. Ladies and
But
gentlemen,
anyway,
Melissa
Thank
Level,
you guys. Thanks for all
absolutely the best.
Congrats. We
Yep.
appreciate it.
Absolutely. Congrats to you as well. Coastal Carolina update on the other side. What's happening? We'll tell you next.
upstate.
How about an update? Coastal Carolina, they are so close, Diesel. They can smell it. 11-3. Coastal Carolina leads Louisville as of right now. The game is in the top of the 9th inning. Again, Coastal 11, Louisville 3. That game is going to be going the way, obviously, of Coastal, Diesel, barring a catastrophic
Comeback for the ages.
Right. And so we're going to have Coastal Carolina advancing tonight. Arkansas, LSU, big college baseball games. Also, Melissa Level is at the Olive Bar. I think we're about to. So she's not nearby, so she can't hear us. But I'm gonna hate this.
You're not going to be able to spit this into a napkin in front of her. You're going to have to eat this.
I'll have to down it. Evan,
Yeah.
do you like olives? Evan from Promotions? No. Does anybody like olives?
I think it's one of those things. If you put it on something, it's good. But there are those people who will just sit there and pop them.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Like, those people need to go get checked in somewhere. Tolos, quick poll before Melissa Level gets back at 844-326-3663. Her and Jay are going 100 miles an hour. Tolos, do you actually eat olives at 844 fan phone? I just don't know. Like when you go to somebody's house or when you go, hey, you want some olives? Like what? I don't know people that eat olives.
It's more of an ingredient or a topping on on a salad or a pizza or something like that. But I mean, think about it, Cole. People have been making entire industries and economies on olive oil for the last
but
for the last 10,000 years or 5,000 years.
So you have tasted them before?
Yeah.
What do they taste like?
To me, and look, there are, just like anything else, there's really fancy and bougie olives, and then there's the stuff like we eat, like when you get olives sliced up on a pizza. Those are two different things, right?
Okay.
And it's also been baked, and it's different, right? But to me, olives they're salty. They're they have kind of a waxy consistency. Yeah.
I think it's the texture for me.
It's like where you bite into something and it has a little bit of that like snap, but it's waxy and it's yeah.
So
I mean, they're all salty because they're brined in salt water.
I was not lying to you and Melissa a minute ago, Diesel. I've never in my life, that's the one food that I've never tried. And I don't like it because it looks terrible. It looks, but she's like, she's over there scooping these things out like it's gold. I don't know what she expects.
See, Corn Chip says only on a pizza for olives. Bubba Brooks, 86, says I can eat a whole jar
Are you kidding
of
me, Bubba?
olives. I mean, there's olives that you can stuff with all kinds of things to kind of add to the flavor.
You put bacon around them?
Yeah. I mean, you know what?
Deep
Now that I'm
fried.
thinking about it, bacon-wrapped olive sounds delicious right now. Another texter asks, "How do you know you don't like olives without
Well, I know
tasting
that's fair, but
what if today changes your mind? Like, what if it
It's not.
changes your
It's
life?"
It's not.
Uh,
I'm telling you, it's not.
Bomber says olives are terrible every which way you can think of.
Thank you, Bomber.
Nasty. And Buckeye Brian says green olives are great by themselves.
This is not good. This is not good. I don't know. I don't know. Here she's dumping a lot of olives in this thing, which makes me nervous. And here they come, by the way.
My wife will absolutely eat them. She'll take them home. If I take them home, she'll eat them.
Rob Stone Show.
Really?
Hey JJ, can we take yourself out of utility? We can hear you chatting there.
I don't know. Here they come. By the way, before they come, quick pick tonight. Arkansas, LSU, who wins?
I'm
LSU.
Running Charlie's
Okay.
show
I am going.
just before. Yeah.
I'm going to go LSU as well, Diesel.
Yeah,
Okay.
I set the over under at 3.5, and I took the over.
Well, I know.
I think
yeah,
LSU is
that's
going to beat them
fine.
by 4 or more.
Yeah.
I was just calling.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Look, Arkansas is good. They're really good. But LSU, to me, just kind of seems like they're on another,
That's fine.
maybe a little bit, maybe they're on another level. We're going to find out. And
Yeah,
here we are.
they're doing
This is worrying me. She was coming to bring us the olives, and now she's backtracking. Now here she comes again. She's strutting. Look at her strutting.
She's happy about
She's
what
happy. She's
what
proud.
she's about. To
All right,
do
are
to
we
you.
about to do this live on air, Melissa Level? Melissa, why did you get 94 olives? But if I don't like one, we're in trouble. I've never had one.
We got a bunch of Tolos texting in that they hate olives.
Melissa, we've had like a million texts. Jay, I've never eaten an olive in my life. No, never.
I like olives. I don't love olives, but hey, this could change my life.
Can you do me a favor though? If I'm gonna try, I want the best one first. Do you think?
She's gonna.
How
yeah,
does she know all these
the
olives?
cheesy olives are great.
What do you think? Do the what'd she say?
Garlic and pepperoni.
Yeah, do that. Do the
Let's pass
garlic
that
and
one over to
pepperoni
Cole.
first. That's an olive you're holding that for? Okay, you may eat them together. All right, we're on the stream. People can see. This is going to be a disaster. This is going to be. I'm going to throw up everywhere, right here in Ingles. So that's the olive, and you may get the pepperoni around it as well. It's okay. I can finger. I mean, sorry.
Whoa, easy now.
Sorry. Yeah, that's
Easy now,
works.
Cole.
We want cheese.
That is. It looks like that might be game over.
Game over.
Cole.
Coastal win?
Yeah, it is game over. Coastal has taken down the Louisville Cardinals 11
So here we go.
to 3.
So what is this I'm eating? Mozzarella cheese. That's cheese right there. Where's the olive? In the back. Here we go. Diesel.
I can't tell if he's trying to contain it, if he's trying to hold it down, or if he's thinking about it. Uh-oh.
That is
it's
the
going sour.
nastiest thing.
He's going sour with Cole.
Oh.
Okay, what is this? This is a cheese. Oh. Cheese stuffed green olive. Those of you who are watching online, Cole's walking away. Cole is walking away. Where's he going? Oh, he's spitting it out. Come on, man. Tolos, you're getting a show right here if you're watching on the stream. Dan B says not a huge olive fan, but a pepperoni garlic olive sounds good, he says.
Y'all eat those on purpose? Melissa, eat the whole.
I'm gonna eat this one. This
Diesel,
one's
that
cheese
is
stuffed.
the nastiest.
Right here.
That Diesel's eating the cheese stuffed olive. Now Jay's eating them like popcorn over there. You like it?
It's not the best thing I've ever had.
Oh,
But it's that.
try one more.
Yeah.
Diesel. Try one more.
Which one?
Melissa, I'm
One of
not
the
being
red or the
rude,
greens?
but oh my gosh,
I'm gonna do a red.
I couldn't even down it. Y'all are crazy. You know
Is there
that?
a pit in there, or is it already pitted? There is a pit. Okay, so I have to be careful about that.
I don't want to be rude when I say this, but that's the nastiest thing I've ever eaten in my life. Tastes like a nut, she said. You know what nuts taste like?
You know what? I'm gonna leave that alone because I know what you're gonna do with that in a promo situation. I'm just trying not to bite the pit. This is good. This is actually
You
really
like that
good.
one?
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this. Ingles,
Yeah.
for those that do like olives, Ingles has the best. Cole doesn't like olives. I don't. Here, yeah.
Mm.
Let's see. For the 111 watching on the stream. There you go.
Ooh, that was good.
Oh,
What I want is that mozzarella cheese ball right there.
oh my gosh. Are those tomatoes? Oh my gosh, you can have it.
Mm.
Well, I'm glad we
Oh.
know. I'm glad we now know. Olives. That's the first. I swear that's the first one I've ever ate.
You would have loved, you would have loved the
no-
mozzarella cheese
no
ball.
worry.
Now. You'd been down with
No
that.
worry. I'll be good with that. All right, Diesel. Daily Wires. We've got to run Daily Wires on the other side. That's next.
mic is hot.
Poor fan phone.
This is Wire to Wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson on the Fan Upstate.
Well, if Cole has emotionally and physically recovered
Ugh,
from trying his first olive,
that
we'll
was
get into
horrible.
our daily wires.
That was horrible. That was the. Let me tell you this.
What?
In 28 years, that was the
Come on.
nastiest thing I've ever eaten.
Your palate really is stunted
Oh,
right there around
God.
the age of 18.
It's terrible. Who would eat
Do
olive?
you think you could deep fry it and make it better?
Probably not. That's the only thing you could. That thing's nasty. That's why they make them into wine. They're no good. By the way,
They'll turn olives into wine.
well, grapes. What are olives used for?
Olives are used for olives and olive oil and cooking and salads and all kinds of stuff.
That's gross.
This is the buzz around the sports world. Oh my God, don't look now. The Atlanta Braves beat a good team. They beat the New York Mets yesterday 5-4. They are now 12 games back in the NL East. That's a long way back.
It's a long way back, but that was a huge win last night. Like if you're gonna climb out of this hole, you've got to beat good teams. And
Yeah.
last night's win was just, I'm telling you, I was so happy. It took a long time for me to experience that, but I was so thrilled last night because the Mets are a really good team, and the Braves were awesome last night late in that game.
Yeah, and getting these head-to-head wins, obviously, that's the quickest way to catch up. The Florida Panthers out of Miami are Stanley Cup champions. Last night, they defeated Edmonton 5-1. Remember, we talked about this yesterday when the Oilers decided to sit the backup goalie that was actually playing better than the starter. Well, they put that starter back in, and he gave up 3 goals in the loss.
Man, that series was kind of a blue, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what the heck, man? I didn't expect that.
In college baseball, yesterday, Arkansas beat LSU 7-3, and Louisville beat Oregon State by a score of 7-6. Louisville won that game on a walk-off sac fly with the bases loaded in the bottom of the ninth, and that set them up to get eliminated today. As of just about 10 minutes ago, 11-3, the final score for Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, beating the Louisville Cardinals and sending them home. Coastal has now 55 wins on the season. Just an unbelievable year for Coastal. There's one more game tonight. The LSU Arkansas could be elimination game, obviously, if LSU wins this one. If Arkansas finds a way to win, they will play it off one more time to see who advances to the final series.
So if Arkansas wins, they'll play tomorrow at 7. There is no game Friday. So Coastal will sit until Saturday, which does give me a little bit more belief in what they can do, having some rest, even if it's LSU they face. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, they get Thursday and Friday off. That's big.
The Indiana Fever clinched a spot in the Commissioner's Cup championship game with an 88-71 win over the Connecticut Sun on Tuesday, but that was overshadowed by a couple of fights. A fight in the final minute that led to an ejection of 3 players, 46.1 seconds to go. The Fever's Sophie Cunningham committed a hard foul on the Suns' J.C. Sheldon as she was attempting a breakaway layup. An altercation ensued between the players and eventually enveloping teammates, coaches, and security as they tried to quell the tensions. And afterwards, Caitlin Clark said, hey, let's talk about basketball. Let's not talk about the fight. Let's talk about basketball. I don't know, man. In a game that is doing anything and everything it can, scratching and clawing to grow and get bigger. Look, I know you don't want to embrace the fighting in the game, but I wouldn't try to shut down conversation about it because that's what people want to talk about right now.
That was a lot of fun, though. That was a lot of fun. Like, yeah, you want to play the game and see the game, but look, we all enjoy the fireworks. Come on. We're fans. We watch NASCAR to see the regs. We want to see the fireworks.
And you know, just speaking callously and speaking realistically here, we don't watch WNBA for the elite level basketball, right? That's not why most people are tuning in. Some people do, and that's fine. But the vast majority of the people who are watching are only paying attention because of the extracurriculars that go on the court. Speaking of extracurriculars, Cole, Spire Motorsports has fined Carson Hocevar $50,000 for derogatory comments that he made about Mexico City during a live stream last weekend. Hocevar has since apologized for those remarks, admitting it was his first time outside of the United States and that he believed negative stereotypes about Mexicans. the team ordered him to attend cultural sensitivity training and donated the fine to Mexican community organizations.
Oh, only Carson Hocevar. The only Carson. He's trying to be himself, and sometimes it goes a little too far, but he is certainly bringing eyeballs on the sport. That's for sure.
Yeah. This is tragic, Cole. A 19-year-old minor leaguer, Luis Guevara, tragically died in a jet ski crash off of Lido Key in Sarasota, Florida. Guevara was a single-A player in the Baltimore Orioles farm system and was involved in a head-on collision
That's bad.
on a watercraft.
Real bad. I hate to hear that.
They are dangerous. Connor McGregor is once again making headlines for his out-of-cage behavior with a recent incident involving him reportedly punching someone twice in a nightclub in Ibiza. Security immediately intervened in the incident. It happened in the early hours of Tuesday morning, though, again, they did not throw Connor McGregor out of the venue. Only the other guy was thrown out. Regular guest on the show, David Schultz of the Locked On Sunbelt podcast, reported earlier today that the Sunbelt has reached out to East Carolina University to gauge their interest in joining the Sunbelt Conference. East Carolina has replied and said they will wait and see, presumably with Memphis and Tulane, and what happens if they get an invitation to the Pac-12. And lastly here, former Raiders wide receiver Henry Ruggs III, on special release from prison Tuesday night, spoke at a Hope for Prisoners event in Las Vegas and apologized to the family of a woman he killed in a car crash 4 years ago. Ruggs drove his sports car at speeds of up to 156 miles an hour in the city on November 2021. He slammed into a vehicle that killed the driver, Tina Tentor, who was 23 years old, and her dog, Max.
All right, it is time. What happened first? A game we played 2 or 3 weeks ago right here on the Fan Upstate, 6 o'clock. Today's edition of What Happened First. That's next. The final hour of Wire to Wire on this Wednesday. Your last chance to come by 10903 Anderson Road in Powdersville. It's Piedmont address, but it's Powdersville Ingles. We have one gift card remaining in this final hour. Welcome into Wire to Wire. He to my right is Diesel. I'm Cole Bryson, and so good to be with you on this Wednesday, on this hump day. We're going to get into a little game here in this very segment, but a quick programming note. Want to let you know tomorrow we will not have a show tomorrow, as we will be celebrating Juneteenth commemorating the end of slavery in the United States. So we will not be on the air tomorrow. We will be back on air Friday. So if you tune in tomorrow from 3 to 7 and you don't hear us, just remember, oh yeah, they're off tomorrow. They're off Thursday.
Some breaking news sent to us, and we appreciate you, John, for sending this over. The Bus family is selling the Los Angeles Lakers $10 billion.
I saw the ESPN notification come through, and that was surprising to me. That was very surprising. Is the Bus family's been heavily involved with the Los Angeles Lakers, and it'll be interesting to see what that team looks like with new ownership. So it really will be.
Are we going to see this go to, a big ownership group, or do you think we, have another, super rich family that wants to buy it and keep the ownership group small?
Mark Walter is purchasing the Lakers. This is what ESPN notification came in. Mark Walter agreeing to purchase the LA Lakers.
I'll give you a little info on Mark Walter here in just a moment, trying to find out a little bit about the guy that is going to be LeBron's new boss. We're going to find out something. He is a businessman, sports franchise owner, CEO, and co-founder of Guggenheim Partners, a global financial services firm. They manage over $325 billion in assets. He was born in 1960. He's from Iowa, graduated from Creighton University. He's owner of the Los Angeles Dodgers that he bought in 2012 for $2.5 billion.
How about that? All right, let's get into a little game time in this 6 o'clock segment, Tolos. You can play along as well. We did this 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago. I can't remember exactly when, but yesterday Diesel put me to the test with some Dallas Cowboys trivia from the era of 15 BC. Today, I will put Diesel to the test with our game that we love of which is older. Which happened first, sports edition. Diesel, we played a few weeks ago.
Yeah, you did a phenomenal job by picking two things that happen like sometimes within months of one another.
It's close.
Yeah.
So if they're close again, you're going to have to really put your brain to the test. You might have some lifelines of the Tolos out there at 844-326-3663. If a Tolo, we did this last time as well, if a Tolo wants to be the live lifeline for Diesel, you can call the show and you can play along for 1 or 2 rounds with Diesel and see if you can help him, sway him in the right direction on which is older, sports edition. Producer John will let us know if one of you Tolos do want to team up with Diesel and participate. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rounds today, Diesel, on this which is older game show.
How many do you think I'll get right?
You did good last time. I think you got half last time.
Half, yeah.
I think you did.
I want to get 7. I'm going to set the bar high.
God, that's high.
7 out of 10.
I will tell you, these are tough.
Oh,
these are tough. Okay. Here we go. Very first one, Tolos. Again, if you want to play along, if you want to be Diesel's lifeline, you can be at 844-326-3663. We're also live on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. You can watch the show there, as 117 of you Tolos are doing right now. Which happened first?
Okay.
Michael Jordan's first NBA championship or Brett Favre's first NFL start?
Oh, man.
Again, it's MJ's first championship, the first ring.
All of his championships came in the 90s.
Be correct.
I'm going to guess it was 92 was his first one.
You're close.
91? 91. So did Brett Favre make his first start? So the NBA finals in June.
Yeah.
Brett Favre could have made his first start as early as September. I'm going to say that MJ's first title is older.
Bingo. You're 1-0.
1-0.
1-0. Do you want the $2 million, or do you want to keep playing for a chance to win 4?
I'm gonna cash out and go home now.
Yeah, me too.
That was
So Jordan's first title was 91.
Yep.
Favre's first start was 92.
92.
So you were
okay.
right.
So
You got it right.
I was really concerned. I was like, did Favre start in 1990?
No, you did good.
Okay.
You did good. 1-0.
Okay. All right.
Good
All right.
start. Good start.
I like
We're
it. Going to go undefeated
Let's see
here.
if we can get 2 in a row, maybe 3 in a row. Which is older? The New York Yankees franchise. Oh. Or I need the intimidating music in the background, like Deal or No Deal, or the NHL league itself. So, again, which is older? The Yankees franchise or the NHL league itself? Diesel, this one's tough. This one's tough.
Did the Yankees exist in the 1900s? You can't tell me.
No, I can tell you. I can tell you. They were. It was the same organization.
Yep.
But a different name.
So when did they become the Yankees? I'm going to say they became the Yankees in the teens.
Okay. But even the organization, which is older, the original Yankees organization,
okay.
or the NHL itself.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh man, I'm gonna say the Yankees are older.
Bingo. You are
2-0. Help me out with these
2-0. Here we go.
I don't even think my grandpa was alive when this started.
2-0. You're off to a good start. I'm telling you, and there are only 8 rounds, so we're making some progress. Here.
One more, and that's called a winning streak.
That's right. All right. Let's see. Can we get a winning streak? Number 3. Tom Brady's first Super Bowl win.
Okay. Ooh.
Or LeBron James's NBA debut, which happened first.
Ooh, LeBron James would have debuted in, I'm going to say 2003.
Okay.
Because he's a year. Well, no. No, it would have been. He's the same age as me, but his birthday hasn't happened yet. So
stay with your gut. Stay with your gut.
So
stay
2003.
Stay with your gut. Yeah.
2003.
Yeah. Stay with your gut.
Okay, yeah. So 2003, LeBron James debut versus Brady's first Super Bowl win. Was that right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Which was first?
I know it's close. So we're either talking. I'm gonna say LeBron's NBA debut because I think it probably happened in the same sports calendar year, but because NBA starts before the Super Bowl, I'm gonna say LeBron. I logic myself out of the right answer.
Streak. Yeah, chance.
Help me out here. When did this stuff happen?
Brady, 2002.
Okay.
First Super Bowl.
January 2002.
Yeah, LeBron's debut in 2003.
Oh.
It's close.
I was thinking that
Same
Brady
year.
probably won in the 2003 season, which would have been January 2004.
Isn't that crazy? How
Right?
old those two guys are.
God.
And there's one of them still playing.
Which one of them do they both have their AARP cards already?
That is wild. All right, so you had a chance to make a streak, to create a streak.
Yep.
The only other chance you'll have is now with 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You'll need to get 4, 5, and 6 right to create a streak. If you just tuned in, Tolos, Diesel, and I are playing the world popular Which Happened First game. If you would like to call in and be Diesel's lifeline, you can do so at 844-326-3663. That is the number. You can call, text the same number. Hub City Spartanburgers text line, by the way. All right. Diesel is 2-1. The first one was Jordan's NBA championship, first one, versus Brett Favre's start. Diesel got that one right. He said Jordan's first title came before Farr's first start. He went 1-0. At the second one, Diesel, it was the Yankees franchise versus the NHL league itself. You got that one right. You said the Yankees came first. You were right. Third one, you got wrong. You said LeBron's debut came before Brady's first Super Bowl. Brady's first Super Bowl came first. So you are 2-1 going into question number 4. Which is older?
Okay.
Fenway Park or the first NCAA men's basketball tournament?
As they call it, Fenway Park.
Fenway Park. Fenway
or
Park.
it's one of the oldest stadiums in Major League Baseball.
Yes.
It may be the oldest. Because I'm thinking maybe Camden Yards.
Okay. You're on the right track here.
Maybe the Wrigley. But it's hard to say. Anyway, that's not the point of the conversation. NCAA tournament versus, I think it's Fenway.
You would be correct.
Yes.
Had to give you a little anticipation there.
So you had me on the edge of my seat. I just didn't want to start a
3-1.
losing streak.
No.
Yeah.
You bounce back. So
3-1.
you're now 3-1.
Okay.
Not bad. So Fenway
Okay.
Park Diesel was built in 1912.
Whew.
March Madness began in 1939.
Could you imagine, like, going to the bathroom and peeing in a toilet and be like, people have been peeing in this toilet for 113
Did they have toilets in
years.
1912? Did they have troughs?
Probably. I don't know.
I don't know either. Should have asked
Just
Jay.
a hole in the floor, probably.
Oh man, that's
Back
good.
then, it just rained down into the visiting locker room because
Right.
they were tough.
Right.
Because they were men. That's how they did it.
So Diesel's 3-1 going into question number 5. Here we go. Question number 5. Tiger Woods wins his first Masters
Ooh.
versus Peyton Manning drafted into the NFL. So Tiger, first green jacket versus Peyton getting drafted.
Peyton's so old he can't turn his head anymore.
Yeah, it creaks.
Speaking of which, did you see that video of Peyton Manning when he hit a drive off of somebody's house?
No,
And I think he was playing with Scotty.
no,
And
no.
Scotty just lost it laughing at him.
Mm-mm.
You should check out the video. It had just happened like 2 weeks
Peyton
ago,
Manning?
3 weeks ago. Yeah.
Really?
It was some sort of charity golf
yeah.
tournament or whatever.
No, I didn't see that.
Okay, so Tiger's first Masters, Peyton being drafted.
Yep, into the NFL.
God,
I can give you, and this one's tough. If you want a year, I can give you 1, but I can't give you 2. Obviously, that'd give it away.
no, I think Peyton's so old he was playing when all televisions were black and white. So they told you their uniforms were orange. You just had to take their word for it. I'm going to say Peyton being drafted into the NFL is older.
Tolos, is Diesel correct or is Diesel incorrect? Diesel says Peyton Manning being drafted came before Tiger won his first Masters. Diesel, do you know what year Tiger won his first Masters?
I believe he was 9 when that happened. Oh, you mean the calendar year? 97?
Bingo.
What a guess.
What a guess.
What a guess.
What a guess.
I'm not a golf historian, so
Let's see.
I'm not like Melissa with a 158 IQ and a photographic memory.
Yeah, not everybody can be. So you are guessing that Peyton Manning was drafted before Tiger Woods' first Master. You just got the answer about the year of Tiger winning the Masters in 97 correct. However, Peyton Manning was drafted in 98.
Oh.
So that one's a big
Bruh.
So you are now 4-2. Is that right?
4-2. Hey, that's better than I thought it would do, to be
Is
honest.
that right? Am I saying that right? 4-2?
Yeah, I think so. I know I've got 2. Yeah, 4-2. 4-2 is right. I got 1 and 2 right. I got 3 wrong. I got 4 right.
Wait
I
a
got
minute.
5
Wait a minute.
wrong.
That's not right. So
Or I got 3 and 2.
you got Jordan's first one right. You got the Yankees right. That's 2-0. Then you dropped Brady.
Yep.
And LeBron. That's 2-1. Fenway Park, you got right. That's 3-1.
3 and 1.
Tiger Woods, you got wrong. So you're 3-2.
3 and 2.
3-2. 3-2. We're it's math. We're struggling. All right, you've got 6, 7, and 8 left. You still have a chance though to improve that record.
God,
You're
I'm
3-2.
sweating, man.
3-2. Here we go.
Is this what it was like coming down the stretch in the U.S. Open? I think so.
Yes. Pretty
heart
close.
pounding,
It's pretty
a lot
close.
of pressure, narrow fairways.
Yeah, I'd say it's very similar.
Yeah.
All right, which is older, Diesel? The first Daytona 500 or the first Super Bowl?
They did the first Daytona 500 with chariots, I think.
Yeah, horse and buggy.
The first Super Bowl or the first Daytona 500. Okay, so Model T was like 1907.
Okay.
Versus the first Super Bowl. Well, the first Super Bowl.
Hmm.
Are we being like official with Super Bowl like AFC NFC merger? By that case, the Daytona 500 is older.
You
Or AFL, NFL.
would be correct.
Yeah.
Do you know who the winner was, by the way, of the first Daytona 500?
I think it was Jebediah Earnhardt.
Close. It was Lee Petty,
Oh,
February 22nd, 1959.
woo, 59.
Do you remember
For
what
some
line-
reason, I was thinking NASCAR is even older than that. So I got lucky.
Lee Petty is the father of?
Richard.
There you go. All right, so you are now 4-2. You've got 2 left. You ready? 4 left.
It is
Or,
it is
excuse me.
statistically impossible for me to go below 500.
That's right. That's right. That's good news. You're 4-2. You got 2 left.
Yep.
Which happened first? This one's a little bit tough. I will let you know. Barry Bonds breaking the single season home run record, or the U.S. women's national soccer team winning their second World Cup. Now, because this one is as challenging as it is, you can ask for 1 date, but you can't ask for 2.
I don't know that having one of these dates is going to help
You don't
me
think
a whole
so?
lot. Give me
You want Bonds or U.S.
give me
women's
the
soccer?
give me the women's soccer second World Cup.
U.S. WNT's second title came in 1999.
99 for the women's soccer team. Did Barry Bonds break the single season home run record? For some reason, I'm thinking that was in the 2000s. So I'm going to say that the women's national team's second World Cup is older.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. That leaves 1 more. Which is
Dan
older?
B throwing out answers, by the
Oh,
way.
is he spoiling?
Dan B spoiling it, but I was correct.
He's right.
He was wrong when he changed. He first called women's soccer championship,
Yeah.
and then he changed it to Bonds, but he was right the first time.
1 more. You're 5-2.
Yeah.
You have a chance to go 6-2. This is pretty good, though, by the way, if you go 6-2. Which is older, the 3-point line in college basketball or the 2-point conversion in the NFL?
3-point line in college basketball. Okay, so that happened after the middle of the Dean Smith era, because Dean Smith's keep away offense,
Yeah.
what do they call it, four corners,
Four corners. Yep.
was so impossible
And
to beat.
Yeah, you're right. And do you want a date of one of the two?
I think the four corner. I think that probably happened in the mid '80s, right? Versus was my
NFL 2-point conversion was added in the year of. Can't tell you because I'd give it away. Because you did just get the first part right.
I don't remember when the 2-point conversion. I don't know. As a wild guess, older is the 2-point conversion.
You were so close. I thought you were going to guess. 94 was the 2-point conversion.
What?
The college 3-point line adopted in 1986.
Isn't it amazing? Like, you think some rules have been around forever.
Yeah.
But the 2-point conversion in the NFL has only been around for 31 years.
Right. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, my God.
Isn't that great? So you did not have a losing record. Congratulations.
Good. That's good.
That's good.
What do I do? 4 and 3? 5 and 3.
Yep, not a losing record at
5
all.
and 3, I think.
And not bad, not bad. So that 5 plus 3. Yep, you're right. 5 and 3, not bad at all.
All right.
How about that?
All
Good
right.
stuff. Good stuff.
It was, but that was a hard one, man.
was hard.
That's stressful because
It
you
was
don't
hard.
want to sound stupid, but I
Yeah.
genuinely didn't know the dates for
It's tough.
many of these things. When we come back, Cole, we had a fantastic conversation earlier in the show with a great college baseball writer who is on site as we speak in Omaha, Andrew Riedell, College Baseball Central. If you missed it earlier, you're going to hear it again next.
Clear.
Crumbs on your shirt. dirt and cheese dust on your fingers and say, I can do that. You're listening to The Right Show.
You're going wire to wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson on the Fan Upstate.
Hey, it's Cole from Wire to Wire. Want to tell you about Ingles Markets. Well, Diesel and I, number one, are on location at Ingles. It's the absolute best super store. I call it a super store because that's what it is. It's a store and it's super. It's the best store, the best grocery store you can find in the upstate. Diesel and I are at the Powdersville Ingles right now. I want to let you know that Ingles has low prices. You can also love the savings while you're shopping at Ingles. Even though earlier in the show, I tried for the very first time in my life some olives and was not a fan, by the way. If you are a fan of the olives, you can check out the olive bar. They also have a cold wing bar, southern foods like meat and three, just like your grandma made growing up. They also have great Chinese selections, great pizza, sub sandwiches, so much to choose from in the Ingles Deli. The produce section across from the Ingles Deli is fantastic as well. But man, I tell you what, you walk in that Ingles Deli, the rotisserie chicken salad that I'm looking at right now that's made from those rotisserie chickens, it is phenomenal. One of my favorite parts about Ingles. Hey, have you tried the sushi from Ingles yet? It's really good as well. I've had it. Your local Ingles Markets has fresh sushi. You need to give that a shot. But Ingles, you should expect more from your local store. It's Ingles where you get low prices and love the savings.
Weird.
On your radio at 97.7
Thanks, man. Can you add a minute? We'll run to the rest. Oh, yeah, we got the interview after this.
9:50 a.m. Parkenburg.
Listen on your phone. Download the
You want me to
Audio
add a
app
minute
and
still?
search
Yeah, that's fine.
Fan Upstate.
There's a whole lot more to know about sound if you really want to go.
So then when you come back, you'll go straight into the interview.
USA, play 97
Right.
The Fan Upstate.
Perfect. Thanks, man. We'll take the
On your
headset
HD
off.
radio at WFBC HD3. There's just one more time. And on your computer at the fan.
FanUpstate.com.
From the News Talk 98.9 WORD Weather Center, here's the upstate's most trusted forecast on the Fan Upstate. Partly cloudy tonight with a chance of thunderstorms and a low temperature of 72 degrees. On Thursday, we'll see a chance of storms with a high of 91 degrees. Friday, lots of sun, a high temperature around 90. Saturday and Sunday looking sunny with highs in the mid-90s. I'm meteorologist Ray Miller on the Fan Upstate. Right now, it's 82.
Injured? Just call Joy Law Firm. 864-888-8888.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million, you deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-472-0467. 800-472-0467. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-472-0467.
Celebrate Greenville's music scene every Thursday night at Piedmont Natural Gas Downtown Alive. Presented by Spectrum. Join us for a free admission outdoor street party featuring live music in Noma Square. Returning this year, Arts After Dark, happening every third Thursday and showcasing local upstate artists in partnership with Metropolitan Arts Council. Piedmont Natural Gas Downtown Alive at Noma Square. Thursday evenings, March 13th through August 29th. Visit gvilleevents.com for more info. That's gvilleevents.com.
Morning jolt of sports. It's the Rob Brown Show.
Damian Priest, WWE World Heavyweight Champion, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
So you went from the Indies to NXT to now being on the main roster. Crowd size moves up, up, and up. What's that like, the transition from NXT to WrestleMania?
Man, yeah. When I started in the Indies, I mean, I performed in front of like 5 people for a hot dog and a handshake. You know what I mean? And then from there to go to NXT, and you know, our TV studio setting was a few hundred people, and it was loud, and I was like, oh man, I made it. And now I just finished winning the world title in front of more than 70,000 people live in Philadelphia. I mean, it's crazy, you know what I mean, to go from one end of the spectrum to the other. It's humbling, you know, to see how many people know who you are. It's just mind blowing to me.
Don't hit snooze. Hit play. The Rob Brown Show. Now morning 6 to 10 on The Fan.
The Fan Upstate.
Text or call. One number does it all. 844-326-3663. That's 844-FAN-PHONE. This is Wire to Wire with Cole, Bryson, and Diesel on The Fan Upstate.
Well, just as we were riding the Louisville Cardinals off, Cole, they have started a little mini rally against Coastal, 8-3 in the middle of the sixth inning. Coastal Carolina coming back up to bat. I mean, 5 runs still puts you in a really comfortable place to ultimately win this ball game. But certainly, Coastal would love to keep putting some runs on the board as we get deeper and deeper into this game. We go to the phone lines right now to talk all things college baseball with Andrew Riedell of College Baseball Central. Find him on Twitter at Riedell, Riedell. Andrew on Twitter. Welcome into the show. First time we've had you on here, Andrew. How much of an impact, since we have watched the phenomenal performances in the pitching staffs of Arkansas, how much of an impact does Arkansas's Gage Wood throwing that complete game have on this team now that they're facing elimination? I guess it's Johnny Holstaff outside of Gage Wood for the Razorbacks.
Through that complete game, because tonight they'll probably start with Landon Vital Chief, and then first one out of the gate, and I don't see him giving up the ball to anyone else. It will be Gabe Gackle. He's been phenomenal against Bellevue all year, but just having even Zach Root and eating innings last night, it gives the Arkansas bullpen a lot of rest with tonight's winner go home game and then forcing that if necessary game tomorrow.
Hey, Andrew, it's Cole here. Appreciate you hopping on with us. We obviously are in the same state as Coastal Carolina, but when you and others across the country see what Coastal not only did in 2016, but are doing this season or doing right now as they're up 8-3, what is the viewpoint of Coastal Carolina from a national perspective in your mind?
I mean, I've been following Coastal all year. They've always been a top 15 team in my opinion. Now it's the top 5. I mean, it starts with Game Bodine behind the plate, and then Jacob Morrison, who I've had the pleasure of talking to multiple times this week. They've just been phenomenal. And then you just had back like Mitchell coming up clutch for this team. It starts with at the top of Kevin Schnall. It's funny to say that his first year back with Coastal in 2016 was the first year they ever made to Omaha. And then the first year he is head coach, he also makes it to Omaha. But yeah, this Coastal team is legit. And if they do hold on to that, they are like a legitimate threat to take on whoever in the SEC they face.
Andrew, what did you learn about Louisville yesterday? You know, they had a lot of that grit to come back in the to hold Oregon State's comeback off in the ninth. You know, what are the chances here that they come back against this Coastal Carolina team that's got the 5-run lead?
I mean, it's never to die in college baseball. I mean, no lead is safe. Louisville's a very scrappy team. If they get hot, they can get hot. I mean, it starts in the middle of that lineup with Eddie King Jr. and Jake Monroe at third base. I mean, those guys have been phenomenal all College World Series. Today, it looks like Riley Eichel did get the best of him, but I mean, I wouldn't count out Coach McDonald on this team. Coach McDonald knows what to say to get this team going. And the top of the sixth, it looks like they started getting something going, but let's see if Louisville's pitching and keep putting up zeros out there.
So that's the conversation, Andrew, as we're joined by Andrew Riedell, College Baseball Central. By the way, quick note, are you in Omaha right now?
I am in Omaha. I'm actually in the very back of the press box watching this and talking to y'all. So thank you for having me on.
We appreciate you taking a little time away to join us live from the press box in Omaha, right here on the Fan Upstate. Andrew, when you talk about the potential, what could be, we touched on it. LSU, you covered them heavily, obviously, but then Coastal Carolina, from what you've seen as a whole body of work in 2025, just knee-jerk reaction. If that were the matchup, how would Andrew Riedell see that matchup going?
I would see it going 3 games. To be honest, I wouldn't be able to name a winner. I think it's very heavily deadly matchup, especially if LSU Arkansas if necessary situation happens. If it goes to tomorrow, Kate Anderson will probably throw for LSU. If Coastal holds on to that, Jacob Morrison's going to have the ball for game 1 on Saturday. So it all depends on really if LSU wins tonight, if they win tomorrow, if they use Anderson tonight, if they use Anderson tomorrow. But all in all, I think it's going to be a lot of really good pitching, a lot of really good timely hitting in a series like that.
Find Andrew on Twitter at Riedell Andrew. Go look for him and give him a follow. We would appreciate that. Show him the love and appreciation for being here on this station. You know, when you look at it over the course of time, what style of baseball in your mind do you think is most successful in winning once you get down to this 4-team level? LSU is a power hitting team. Louisville plays disciplined situational baseball, as does Coastal. Arkansas is kind of a mix of both. What style do you think more times than not ultimately wins this whole thing?
I mean, I think situational baseball, you're gonna have to play with adversity. You have to handle adversity. A team that has done that really well so far is Arkansas and Louisville. Arkansas, they go down in that losers bracket. They could have been broke in Murray State, but of course they got a phenomenal pitching performance. Louisville, same thing. That error happens with Arquette in order to stay in the top 10 minutes, and it looked like, oh, Louisville might be taking it off. But they split it against Florida State. They had the same thing. They had to overcome adversity. And I think it's just really good situational baseball and overcoming adversity. If you can overcome adversity at the highest stage of college baseball, you are going to succeed, and there's a very good chance you are going home as the national champion.
We're joined right now by Andrew Riedell, College Baseball Central. Andrew, for those listening in the upstate of South Carolina, talk us through what you're experiencing in the press box covering the College Baseball World Series, from everything from the food that you guys are eating in the press box to the views that you get, the inside information with interviews and that kind of stuff. I'm sure it's awesome to experience that.
Yeah, I mean, Thursday I came in Wednesday night for media day starting Thursday, so I was very fortunate to talk to a lot of top college baseball players. We ended up talking to Jacob Morrison on Thursday. We've had the opportunity to talk to Caden Bodine, both of Carolina, but we've also gotten to talk to some top draft prospects. Kate Anderson at LSU, he'll be a top 10 pick in this upcoming draft. Avia Arquette, he'll be a top 10 pick in the upcoming draft. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience if you're very fortunate to cover college baseball. The food here, the food's a hit or miss, in my opinion, but I do go down to the concourse. There is some not over exciting food, but there is some pretty decent food there. But it's Omaha. It's been amazing. I'm gonna knock on some wood here because we've only gone into one rain delay, and yeah, everyone says if you come to Omaha, be aware of the rain, and we've only had one rain delay so far, so I'm hoping we don't get another one tonight.
Yeah, Andrew, I was looking at the forecast earlier today, and it looks like all that major stuff has already moved on out of the way. Still maybe some scattered stuff over central Nebraska that's moving your way. Does it look at the moment, and are they passing any information along to you guys as far as it pertains to Arkansas LSU? Will there be any problems for that game, or do you expect smooth sailing?
We haven't heard anything, but we do have some people on the ground that talk to us. I mean, I'm looking out the window right here. It looks weird, but it looks fine right now. But LSU and UCLA looks beautiful out, and then they're already issuing a national thunderstorm warning. So it seems like everything kind of moved fast here in Omaha with the weather. So and the big factor is the light. On Monday with that rain delay, it wasn't even really raining. It was just lightning. Lightning stayed inside that 8-mile radius, but hopefully we get smooth sailing tonight because we don't want to have to possibly play 2 tomorrow or 1 Thursday, 1 Friday. And next thing you know, Coastal
Special guest on
Carolina
the show.
has a 1-up advantage if they hold on here.
A minute. Andrew, my last question for you, man, before we let you run and get back to work, if we're probably holding you up, I'm sure. When you look at Arkansas, what happened the other day, Gage Wood, Dees Live were in the studio doing the show live, watching it on our screens. Can you think back and from the people you've talked to, recall a time that we saw as college baseball fans something as significant as we saw on Monday with Gage Wood?
No, that was probably, I was very fortunate to be here for that one. It's like, that was probably one of the greatest pitch performances in baseball history, not just college baseball history, but just baseball history. The best thing about that was ESPN afterwards saying, when did you realize you had a no-hitter after me? And it's like, when I hit that one guy. It was really just a special moment. And talking to Arkansas coaches afterwards, because Gage Wood did miss a little bit of the season with an arm injury, and here he was at the biggest stage in college baseball, throwing 98 at 115 pitches. It was just a really special moment for the fans, for him, his family, his teammates, and just being able to cover that and watch it in person was just phenomenal.
You know, Andrew, Cole, and I, in this position, we've had the opportunity to cover a lot of college football. We've been in press boxes for NFL games. What was it like being in the press box for that moment? And we're all trained to keep our head down, to focus and not become fans in that moment. But that's got to be hard to do when you know that there's a special performance happening in front of you. So were you and your fellow baseball writers, were you giddy as this thing was happening, or did it stay fairly subdued and focused?
I think we're all focused. Obviously, trying to stay non-biased, but it's like in the back of your head, you're like, okay, this is happening. This is happening. In Omaha, they have the microphone, the field microphone, kind of pumping into the press box. So Gage Wood got hyped at the end of the 8th inning, the 7th inning. You could hear some of those friendly words he was yelling into the press box. So it was just like, there's little chuckles of laughter there, but it was mostly just kind of like just quiet, because everyone was like observing it, just like witnessing history. It's like everyone's reporting on it, but everyone's just enjoying history as it was happening.
Andrew, great stuff, man. We appreciate you taking time to hop on with us and have a lot of fun out there, man.
No, thank you guys for having me on.
Absolutely. Andrew Riedell, College Baseball Central. Again, as Diesel said, you can give him a follow on Twitter, on X, at Riedell Andrew. That's Riedell. We had yesterday Gage Wood's coach from high school on the show today, reporter live from the press box in Omaha. Diesel, we're probably setting expectations too high, because here in about a week or two, there's not going to be no games to report on. We're going to be calling the butcher over here at Ingles Markets to interview him. But two really good guests, 2 back-to-back days. So appreciate Andrew hopping on with us. Good stuff there.
Yeah, fantastic. And he was and baseball writers, are a funny bunch. They hyper focus in on certain details of the game. And as you hear him saying, in the back of your mind, you're like, "Oh my God, this is happening! Oh my God, this is happening! Oh my God, this is happening!" How do they not get a little giddy and chat it up with the other members and say, "Hey, this hasn't happened in 65 years. We could be seeing something really special going on in front of us."
Yeah,
I don't know how you hold that together.
Don't say it.
Yeah, don't say the words.
Right. Oh man, it was Wire to Wire. Diesel and I are on location at Ingles Markets. Show, what are we at now? Show 304, rocking and rolling, heading toward the 400 mark. I was scrolling through our Facebook memories. Look at you and I a year ago today.
Oh my!
I was fat in the face.
Well, I had the big beard.
I was fat, man. I'm telling you what, those memories pop up, and you're like, dang. I don't want to look at these memories.
Now it's a good memory because you're doing better now.
I am doing better, but and that's why I'm not eating that.
Oh, well.
Okay.
Yeah,
I had that puffy face going on.
How much do you think you're down from then to today?
I'll tell you this. 3 weeks ago to today, I'm down. From 3 weeks ago, 3 Fridays ago to today, I'm down. Let me do the quick math. 14 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've lost 14 in about 3 weeks.
Wow.
I'm strict what I eat right now. I mean, miserably strict.
Can you hear
So,
me?
but you know what? It shows up here. I mean, that video of a year ago, Tolos, y'all could have told me I was just fat in the face. These big old puffy cheeks I had a year ago. Come on.
Dan B messages in on the stream. Good to know that you're still with us over there. Jump in, everybody, on the Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube feeds at the Fan Upstate. He says, "Oh my God, Denny Hamlin just signed yet another lame sponsor, Bob's Discount Furniture." So you got that one, PDS Debt, Progressive, Sport Clips, and Yahoo. 5 different paint schemes this year. Nothing says NASCAR is doing great like Bob's Discount Furniture.
Bob. Who's Bob?
Are they going to get his car sponsored by Ollie's Good Stuff Cheap?
I like Ollie's.
I do like
I
Ollie's.
like Ollie's.
I have fun in Ollie's, but still, I mean, it doesn't inspire a lot of confidence in the sponsors that they're able to get.
Speaking of inspiring confidence, man, last night was
Coach Tyson Show, tomorrow at noon, only on the Fan Upstate.
I'm Chuck Sanders. Here's the Sports Flash presented by Progressive. College World Series in Omaha.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I got you. What's up, man?
Okay, no, yeah, just I anything to this commercial, I'm going to try to also get the sports flash.
Started on Monday, then suspended due to weather.
How long is this break?
Right after that, and they lost.
Right now, it's
3 against number 3 Arkansas.
3 minutes, 3.5 minutes
from the
Okay.
tournament.
You add a minute?
from this sports flash.
Louisville outlasted number 8 Oregon State 7-6.
It has a little bit of a length on its own.
Louisville move on to the
Oh, it's 3 outside of the sports flash?
Louisville
Yeah.
takes on
Okay, that's
number
fine.
13 Coastal Carolina. Then at 7 Eastern, it's number
I'm just
3
gonna work
Arkansas
on
against
sports
number
flash
6
for a
LSU.
Yeah, if it's there yet.
Must-win games for Arkansas and Louisville. They each have 1 loss. If both Coastal Carolina and LSU win today, they'll meet in the finals for the national title. That'll be a best-of-3 series that begins on Saturday. Download the Odyssey app, search the Fan Upstate, and listen anywhere on your phone. I'm Chuck
Is
Sanders.
that a
That's the
newer
Sports Flash
Ingles?
with
The
Fan
one
Upstate.
No, it's just nice.
From the Ingles Market Studio, the Fan.
Upstate, 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg.
Always live from the free Odyssey. Now, the Infinity Sports Network.
The success you've had in life matters. The late nights, the extra shifts, the moments you've stood up and said, I've got this. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we value your achievements because we're a school for real life. With UMGC, you can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and relevant life and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer scholarships, affordable tuition, and online and hybrid classes, all with the support you need from your first day to graduation day and beyond. As an accredited state university, we've been transforming lives for over 75 years. Choose from more than 135 undergraduate and graduate degrees and certificates.
At least like
and
2 or
get
3
ready to
minutes.
succeed again. Get an affordable online skills-based education to move your career forward. UMGC offers no
Yeah, you
cost
have at
digital
least 2.5
materials in place
minutes.
of
2.5.
textbooks in most courses. Low cost tuition and over 21 million in scholarship opportunities each aid year. Find out if you qualify at umgc.edu.
30-second and then 2
Certified
more
to operate in
minute
Virginia
long
by Shell.
break after that.
Baseball is back, and Ingles Markets is a proud sponsor of the inaugural season of the Hub City Spartan Burgers. Whether it's before
My wife is the queen of like taking stuff home. I'm like, why don't you eat it here when it's as hot and fresh as it's possibly going to be? No, I'd rather just take it home. So you want to wait 30 minutes
Yeah.
for it to get cold and
Yeah.
not be as good, or you could just have it here when it's as good as it's going to get.
My brother hates cold food. He wants to
Right?
always eat it hot.
It's never as good. You can't throw it in the microwave and expect it to be as good. It never is. Plus, like if I got food in front of me, I want to eat it
Me
now.
too.
I don't want to wait 45 minutes.
Yup.
He relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com.
30 more seconds of this, and there's still a minute-long commercial, and then 2 quick short ones after that.
Introducing the new Dell AI PC, powered by the Intel Core Ultra processor. It helps do your busy work for you, so you can fast forward through editing images, designing presentations, generating code, debugging code, summarizing meeting notes, finding files, making a schedule, and responding to Jim's long emails, leaving all the time in the world for the things you actually want to do. No offense, Jim. Get a new Dell AI PC at dell.com/AI-PC. How those ahead stay ahead.
The best moments in life weren't meant to sit in a box, gathering dust in the attic or stuck on outdated tapes. They're meant to be seen.
Have just
heard,
under 1
and
minute left.
shared. Again,
Isn't it amazing how every like 10 years or so this industry comes back?
Yeah.
Like I remember when I was a kid, there was a guy down the road whose business was transferring your old VHS tapes or your reel-to-reel tapes to DVD or CD.
Yeah.
Send it to our headquarters in Tennessee where we digitize everything by hand. And in just a few
How much time now?
we'll send back your originals, digitized,
20
preserved,
seconds of
and
this, and you
stored
have a
in the
really
cloud.
short 4
So you
second
can
and a 12
easily
seconds. So it's
stream,
about under 30
download,
seconds
and
left.
share your memories anytime, anywhere. Join the millions of families that have trusted Legacy Box. Go to legacybox.com/value for 50% off. That's legacybox.com/value for 50% off.
Tonight, the temperature will reach 72 with slight showers becoming partly cloudy later.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Have you heard? The Staples Easy button is back with
Just
even
under
more
5
easy.
seconds.
Press it for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos. Staples. That was easy.
A win is a win, whether it's on the real field of competition
Mike is hot.
or over your 9-year-old in the driveway. Celebrate, you magnificent beast.
You're going wire to wire with Diesel and Cole Bryson on the Fan Upstate.
Diesel, you and I, as I said earlier in the show, are not on these airwaves. Tomorrow we'll be broadcasting on MySpace tomorrow. So if you do want to listen, you have to tune in there tomorrow, as it's Juneteenth tomorrow. I'm kidding. I'm kidding about the MySpace part. We're really not going to be on air
Does
tomorrow.
MySpace still exist?
I don't know. It's a good question. But do you realize that with us not being on air tomorrow,
it does.
It does exist. With us not being on air tomorrow, right now, in this very segment is our only and last chance to talk NBA Finals Game 6. It is tomorrow night, and the Oklahoma City Thunder have an opportunity, Diesel, to close things out. We like advanced metrics, we like analytics. Teams that win Game 6 and up 3-2 are NBA champs. Just so you know, that's how 100% of the time they're NBA champs, because the Thunder tomorrow night have a chance to capture their first ever NBA championship. Game 6 tomorrow night, but it is in Indy. Do you think with an injured Tyrese Halliburton, Diesel, there's any hope left for the Indianapolis Pacers?
I just don't think they have enough in the tank. I mean, if Tyrese was 100%, you could see it setting up as one of those stories like we've seen so many times from Tyrese Halliburton in these NBA playoffs. You know, just that amazing moment at the end, that game winner. Oh my God, I can't believe he did it again. I just don't know that they have enough in the tank
so
to get it done.
With Tyrese Halliburton having a strained right calf in Game 5, his status for Game 6 is in question. Obviously, if Tyrese Halliburton, Diesel, tomorrow night does not go, there aren't many people that watch basketball that believe, oh yeah, Pascal Siakam is going to lead the Indiana Pacers in Game 6 to go beat Oklahoma City in a closeout game. Now, with it being an Indy, does that help? Sure, a little bit. But at the end of the day, your best player not being on the floor is definitely an X factor. Diesel, he was limited to just 4 points in Game 5. He was 0 for 6 from the floor. Didn't have the mobility. He didn't have that next step that I talked about where he was able to get past the defender, right? And Oklahoma City, they have what the Florida Panthers had going into last night's game. They have momentum. They have SGA and Jalen Williams, who, by the way, Diesel, have combined for over 130 points in the last 2 games. They post the most combined points by a duo in a finals game in 50 years. Could I be wrong? 100%. Indiana could somehow win, but for whatever reason, I look at this game tomorrow night, and I don't believe Indy has much of a shot.
Yeah, we're talking performance for the ages from the Indiana bench. And the Indiana bench has been really solid at times throughout this series. When you put it on them that they have to do it, that's when you put them in crunch time, and I'm just not sure they got it.
You know, it's going to be interesting. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, or maybe it was the day before, but when you look at Rick Carlisle, Pacers veteran coach, right, who's leaned on the defense, who's leaned on the flexibility of the lineup, who's leaned on some of the miraculous comeback efforts they've had in 2025 and in the postseason, Diesel. I am fascinated to see if we could have tomorrow night, Diesel, maybe, just maybe, while Tyrese Halliburton's health is in question, could we have maybe one of the greatest coaching jobs ever in NBA Finals history? What if what I am saying is my prediction of what's going to happen, what if that's wrong? What if somehow Rick Carlisle goes out and puts together an absolute masterclass with a limited and banged up Pacers roster? What if the Pacers somehow find a way to get it done and get Tyrese Halliburton back, even though he's not 100%? What if they go to Oklahoma City for one game where all they have to do is win one game? Things change, right?
Now you're flipping that script. Now you're saying that this Rick Carlisle is the greatest single series coach in NBA history. With all the odds against them, the superior team against them, the fact that your star is banged up, the fact that you're not getting a ton of production the last couple games from your bench, and somehow finding a way. That comes out as one of those gutsy, gritty performances, and I'd love to see it. I just don't know. Look, I've got a little bit of a soft spot in my heart from my childhood days of the Indiana Pacers, because I was watching Reggie Miller beat himself against that brick wall of the Chicago Bulls as a kid and the New York Knicks as a kid. So I would love to see the Pacers get this done. From the very beginning of this thing, I was like, my head says the Thunder.
Sure.
My heart wants to see the Pacers do it. I just think the head is going to win out over the heart. I think tomorrow night they end up closing this thing out on their opponent's court. But, man, how good would it be to have a Finals Game 7?
2022 was the last time a NBA Finals series concluded in 6 games when the Golden State Warriors clinched the championship by defeating the Boston Celtics 4-2. Again, wrapping up the series in 6 games. It also went 6-19 with Toronto and Golden State when Toronto beat Golden State 4-2. Kawhi Leonard obviously was Finals MVP, and Toronto secured the victory there. But Game 3 tomorrow night. We won't be here tomorrow, but we'll react to it on Friday.
Can't wait.
Tolos, we'll see you on Friday right here on the Fan Upstate.